Hello and welcome into It's All Connected, the Marvel DC Star Wars recap show here on the Illuminerdi. I unmuted myself. There we go. That's a very important step to this show running. I am a writer and editor for the Illuminerdi.com. We are here. We're live. We're moving. It's crazy. So we've had a string of technical difficulties throughout the past few weeks. But today I think we were finally able to get them all sorted out. However, unfortunately, due to us finally getting all that sorted out, we had to delay the show a few hours. So Richard was unfortunately unable to join us. But we do have Caitlin Tyrrell here. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Happy to see us on screen, so that's
Yeah,
good change.
it's new. This hasn't happened in a while, so we're happy to be here. Donnie Pearson's already in the chat, always in the chat. He says hello, Bryce, Caitlin, and all. Hope everyone is well on this day after Superman Day, this final Sunday of spring. There we go. So yeah, we're always happy to have Donnie Pearson in the chat. He's a very loyal viewer of the Illuminati, but. Yeah, Caitlin, we have a pretty action-packed show for today.
Yeah, we dropped a lot of Marvel news this week. Some exclusives. We've also just, of course, got Loki premiered, and that
Yeah.
was a blast. If you did not join us, you can watch last week's, or you can join us on Tuesday at 11:40 p.m. Pacific, where we will be doing our Loki watch along, which is me, Richard, Brax, and TC. So that's always fun. On the Star Wars side, we of course have Bad Batch, and then we've got some info on a lot of their shows. We got Mandalorian
Yeah.
update, we got Boba Fett update, Obi-Wan, and Andor. So we are finally into the Star Wars news, which I am beyond excited about. And then DC's pretty stacked this week too, with some movie updates, some TV stuff. So I mean, I think the weirdest one to me is the DC League of Super Pets, but we got a trailer for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's gonna be a jam-packed episode today. We've got two TV shows to go over, so
Yeah.
that is gonna
It's
be
pretty
very new
crazy.
and very excited for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, and then we got Black Widow coming too.
Yep.
So, yeah. Alrighty. Well, I say let's get into Loki.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is like ready for summer because here is everything. Yeah, we had the premiere of Loki. We got to see, I think, what everyone has been dying to see. We saw Loki kind of at his worst when he was attacking the Avengers, and then have that transition
Yeah.
happen within an episode, which I thought was very well
Yeah.
done on their part. The fact that the importance of Dark World and Ragnarok and Infinity War was not the story itself, but the emotional impact on Loki was very cool and very interesting. And that was probably one of my favorite scenes of the episode. And then we also just got all kinds of crazy too.
Yeah. Yeah. So Loki, primary protagonist is Loki. Loki, primary antagonist, also Loki. So that's pretty interesting. A little twist there. We're dealing with a different future Loki that is going to be going up against this good anti-hero Loki. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but who knows? It's Loki.
well, what we do know with Loki so far is that this is definitely going to be a exciting, weird adventure to say the least, and I think we've definitely seen that throughout this this first episode.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think Miss Minute was one of the creepiest things ever, yet
Voiced
somehow
by
one of the
Tara
most
Strong,
relevant.
which was
Yeah, that was great.
yeah, that was awesome to see. I didn't know. I mean, we never really knew that going into it, did we? So
I did love the folksy, like Southern accent to make you feel at ease. That was great. I think on the show we even said it felt like the DMV on steroids. It was like the worst DMV trip ever. And I loved like the guy yelling about the ticket that just gets like disintegrated, and then Loki freaking out about having the ticket.
yeah,
That
he's
was
like,
great, you know. Right? He's like, I have it, I swear. But
oh
no, like
man,
Miss Minute, weirdly, probably one of the most relevant things that happened in that show for the larger MCU. It sets up the craziness that's going to be happening with the multiverse. It
Yeah.
set up actually that there are going to be probably multiple Loki variants because it showed in their little video like how multiple variants can happen. So totally weird, totally crazy,
Yeah.
hugely important. I mean, did you expect Loki to be this important to like the future of the MCU?
Um, I whenever we were kind of getting uh more in-depth look into Loki and like what this Loki show was going to be about, I kind of had some sort of idea like, okay, so this show is going to be a lot bigger than we thought, with like all the time travel and the multiverse stuff that we're going to be dealing with. And now actually seeing it, it has exceeded even those expectations. I mean, this show is huge. I mean, this is going to be a very big deal within the MCU, and it's sticking around as well. I mean, we
Yeah,
already
there's
know that this is getting a
rumors of a
second
season
season.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is going to be a very very big show for the MCU. And I really love all of the stuff with Loki. Like everything that they have done with Loki and kind of catching him up to speed on his own character development was kind of funny and kind of cool to see. Him and Mobius's relationship is really cool. I really love the two of them together. Um, and I think the supporting cast is really going to play off of each other really well. I like what would you call it? Like the office desk person or the
Oh
intern
yeah,
or
Casey.
yeah, that guy's hilarious. And the fact that he brings up something really interesting in the MCU is that they've got like a bunch of Infinity Stones that they're just using as paperweights. I mean
Yeah.
that is hilarious. I mean, like literally, like this whole 23 movie saga. It's like, yeah, we're just using those for paperweights, and over here in the TVA. I mean, I think it really goes to show though that like the Infinity Saga is over. This is a new era within the MCU, and I think Loki is not necessarily the first, but it really like shows off that this is a new era within the MCU.
Yeah, I mean the Infinity Stones part was interesting because it really showed the power of the TVA too, like the fact that no magic can happen period, even with Infinity Stones, which are supposed to be the most powerful like thing in the entire universe,
Yeah.
was kind of crazy. And I mean, like we said, it ties into a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm guessing it might tie into what if. It's
Yeah.
gonna tie into Multiverse of Madness, maybe Spider-Man, and maybe Ant-Man Quantumania, because
So
Gugu
everything. So
Mbatha Raw's character, the Judge, has ties to Kang. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, like this feels like the like we've talked about a little bit. Like WandaVision kind of felt like a setup for Doctor Strange. Um, Falcon Winter Soldier kind of felt like set up for Captain America 4. This really feels like kind of almost a linchpin series where this is going to be the one where you're like, okay, if you don't watch this, you'll get the movies, but not as much. Like
Yeah.
this is the show that's really going to be the piece of Marvel like Disney Plus content that you need to watch going
Yeah.
forward.
I think with WandaVision, maybe, like you could say that for Doctor Strange a little bit, but not
Yeah.
really. But it only really, as far as of right now, ties into Doctor Strange. Whereas with this seems like it's going to be tying into like three, four, five different projects.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say it with Falcon the Winter Soldier too, but even then they really kind of took care of that at the end of Endgame, and Falcon and Winter Soldier was just like extra stuff for the fans to see his development into Captain America. But with this, yeah, this is going to involve, I think, a lot of future MCU material. Um, and I'm really looking forward to that. One thing, however, and it's not even really at the fault of Loki, but I think one thing I didn't really like is how MCU time travel doesn't make any sense. Like
Yeah.
we're still getting into Loki, and I was kind of hoping that they would take this opportunity to kind of explain how things work with time travel in the MCU a little better than Endgame did, because Endgame just left you going like, what? This just doesn't make any sense. And then Loki goes on to explain it further, and now it makes even less sense. And so I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on how time works in the MCU?
I mean, rewatching the episode because I watched it again yesterday. It's one of the things that threw me off is like they took Loki out of the time stream and the Tesseract out of the time stream. It was like, okay, now what? Doesn't that totally affect the Infinity Saga? But it honestly looks like a new version of Loki that is like, I don't know, Loki 2.0 has all the same memories as this one or whatever, just pops up and replaces it, which is super weird. Don't understand that at all. And then like I didn't like that the Avengers just got a free pass where they're like, well, that was supposed to happen. That felt like such a cop out to me. I
Yeah,
would have rather had it be them in like 2014 version of Gamora where I'm basically a TVA watch list.
yeah,
Like maybe Loki got grabbed because he's messed with stuff too many times. That would still track. Like it is Loki. So if you
yeah.
had the Avengers and this version of Gamora, and it's like, no, we keep an eye on them now. Like what they did was for the betterment of the universe. So we give them a little bit of a pass with that, but we're keeping an eye on them. So if they
But
mess up again, we'll grab them. But
that still
I don't know.
doesn't explain what Cap, because you could
That makes
say,
no sense.
that, like what the Avengers did. Cap went back and put the Infinity Stones back in the right places, so it effectively brought the timeline back together. But whenever Captain America went back to live with Peggy Carter, that created a new timeline.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Did they live in a offshoot branch? Because that's supposed to not be possible
Yeah.
according to the TVA.
Well,
But
they're
if he
supposed to
lived
have
in
one
the act,
universe, right?
yeah, and if he actually lived in the singular, like in the timeline the whole time, if he was the one that was married to Peggy the whole time, that doesn't make sense to me. Captain America doesn't let all this bad stuff happen and just go, meh, it's fine. It's supposed to happen. Like that doesn't feel like Steve to me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and then like I guess you could argue like if he'd stayed in the shadows the whole time, but even then, like if he didn't join the Avengers or anything, or if he didn't interfere with any of the outside world stuff, he still interfered with Peggy's life,
Yeah.
and so that would still change Peggy, therefore creating another time. I mean, it's the butterfly effect. I mean, you do literally anything separate from another timeline, that creates a new timeline. So, I mean, that's
There's
just kind of
also
time travel 101.
yeah, and if there's not supposed to be a multiverse, like if they wiped out the multiverse and there's a singular timeline, what if and Spider-Man and Multiverse of Madness, I'm assuming we're going to see how those happened because I'm guessing something went wrong or maybe they're lying.
Maybe.
I
Yeah, maybe.
mean,
What if the TVA are like the bad guys this whole time and they're just tricking Loki into,
right?
that'd be
Like
interesting.
there's definitely a chance they're lying. I mean, it's like this giant
Mysterio. So,
bureaucracy. Like why
I
would they
mean,
not
yeah,
be
I
lying?
mean, the last time we were introduced to the multiverse, they were lying, with Mysterio. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna keep constantly getting characters lying about the multiverse until probably like Doctor Strange. Like it's just like, oh
Or
well,
they'll
this is how the
watch.
multiverse works. It's like, actually no, it's not. It's like, well, actually this is how it works. And yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I hope they have some sort of explanation for this, because right
Yeah.
now it's just like,
I think that it'll get explained more throughout the series. I don't think they're going to drop it
yeah,
at this because
well,
Loki's going to have questions. Loki's essentially the audience in this situation.
and I guess there's the theory, because I guess like people have been zooming in and looking at things and seeing someone who looks like Peggy Carter in the background, but it's just
Yeah.
like, why would she just be in the background? If this is going to be a
I
major plot point.
I think the assumption is it's part of the setup for What If since we're getting Captain Carter. But I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily buy it.
Yeah, I'm not really buying it either. I think right now Marvel is just kind of confused on what they want to do with time travel. I
I think
I
they know what they want to do. I just am not sure it's been explained fully in the way it needs to.
I
Like I said,
guess.
I hope it happens in the rest
Well,
of
it's just
the
their own rules contradict each other.
show.
Is the problem? It's like these are the
If
rules that they set up,
yeah,
and they don't work. They don't mesh with each other.
if you cut the Captain America part, it would work way better.
Yeah.
That's really the piece of it that sticks out to me. And then one of the other
Yeah.
pieces that was really interesting was they set up this whole question of predetermined destiny versus free will. Like that giant philosophical question that people still like have debated forever. And they essentially said in the Marvel universe there is no free will.
Mhm.
Like that doesn't exist, which was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Very interesting, but also like Wow, you just set up a giant philosophical question and just straight up answered it for
Yeah.
this universe in like an episode. And it's the answer that scares the crap out of everyone. Like, no one is like, yeah, free will's not real. That's fine. I'm okay with that. No, everyone wants free will. So the fact that they said
No.
to Loki, the god of mischief, who's all about like, I deserve this, I want this, and went, no, you have no free will. Everything you've done is like been predetermined. That's insane to me, and I
Yeah.
hope we get more of that because that was so fun to watch that basically just like completely unravel Loki. He couldn't
Yeah.
handle it.
So what do we think they're doing with evil Loki? Is that what we're calling him? Like the
I think there's going to be a lot of variants. I mean, there was a tease of Lady Loki
yeah.
from the composer. We reported on, I think, a kid Loki like a while ago. I think there's going to be a lot of Loki variants running around, and I can't wait to see what happens with
Yeah,
that.
that's gonna be pretty interesting. Like, do we have a rumor on who could be playing Lady Loki or
I don't think so. I'm
okay.
curious of which Loki is the bad guy,
Yeah.
right? And
Because
why?
well, and we've there's been rumors of maybe King the Conqueror being involved. Like, do we think in some weird way a Loki variant is involved with King the Conqueror, or it is posing as King the Conqueror, or because I
So
don't think
King
they're gonna make a Loki variant literally King the Conqueror, right?
No,
I
no, no.
mean,
King the Conqueror is connected because of the judge, Gugu
okay,
Mbatha Raw's character. Because in
okay,
the comics, the character with that name, I don't think she's actually a judge in the TVA, but the character with that name is actually fully connected to Kang. Like they were together, like crazy drama, tried to kill each other, all kinds of craziness. So I think that's more of where the Kang stuff comes in.
okay,
I don't know necessarily if we're going to see a full-on Kang appearance. Maybe a tease as like a post-credit scene setting up Ant-Man or something. But no, it could be interesting if one of the Loki variants is working with Kane in some capacity. I
yeah,
know there were people who were thought some of the animation of the like time gods that one of them looked like Kang.
yeah.
So no, I mean there's a lot of options, and
I
also
mean,
it's Marvel,
Loki.
so who
Loki
knows?
has a history of working with these big major MCU villains. I mean, he was working with Thanos and the original Avengers, so it
And
wouldn't
we
be a
saw how well that ended.
yeah. And he did too. So nah, no. I mean, otherwise than weird time travel nonsense that they really should explain. I liked pretty much everything else about Loki. I think they're off to a really great start. I mean, obviously Tom Hiddleston is amazing in the role. I think it was so cool what they did with the DB Cooper thing
Yeah,
at the beginning. That was really cool. Um
that was
uh
great because that's an actual like
yeah.
mystery in history, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that was pretty cool. So it's not a mystery anymore. It was Loki.
Right?
So there we go. Mystery solved. But no,
I did love, just before we go on, I did love it established that him and Thor did have like a brotherly
yeah.
relationship when they were kids because it was I lost a bet. That's so funny to me as he did the DB Cooper nonsense because he lost a bet to Thor. That I wish we could have seen more of that. We saw a
Yeah.
little bit of it with Thor Ragnarok near the end, but I would love to see more of Thor and Loki just being idiots together.
Right. Yeah. Well, forgive us a prequel.
Right?
Maybe they're doing the Jane Foster Thor series, and then we can have like a Thor and Loki prequel series. I think that'd be cool.
We just have like Tom Hiddleston and
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth like looking totally like they do now, but pretending they're 16. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I want. Yes. So I want 40-year-old Tom Hiddleston and Chris
Right?
Hemsworth playing 14-year-olds. So there we
Sounds
go.
like network TV right there.
Yeah. Sounds like Grease is what it sounds like. But
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, so coming soon to Disney Plus. You heard it here first. But yeah, I mean Loki was really really awesome. I mean, besides the weird time travel stuff that I hope they kind of fix as the show goes on. But
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll get more explanation for that because Loki's kind of the stand-in for the audience of that. He doesn't know what's going on with that, so he'll
yeah,
have to have it explained at some point.
yeah, sure.
Um, I liked seeing Loki hit on his own. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I said it last week. We've always seen Loki and Thor. Like, Loki is a supportive character for Thor. He is the
Mhm.
catalyst for Thor's hero's journey. And to a degree, Thor is a supporting character for Loki because he has been the catalyst kind of for Loki's stuff to a degree. Yeah, a lot of it's also Odin. But so I think it's going to be really interesting to see Loki on his own. And I'm really excited to see this character that's not just stuck in this constant cycle of betrayal. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
I
sure
mean,
we'll get it, but
we're
it's
we're
not the only piece of him.
we're kind of seeing that in all of these Disney Plus shows because, I mean, Wanda and Vision always side characters to the Avengers. Captain America, or at that time, Falcon and the Winter Soldier were side characters to Captain America, Steve Rogers. And now we're getting Loki in his own standalone thing, who has always been a side character to Thor.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's pretty much what they're doing in most of these Disney Plus shows. And I think it's gonna be freaking out. I mean, even in Hawkeye, I mean, like Hawkeye could almost be a side character to the Avengers. You know, at least the main four. So
Yeah.
I mean, we're finally getting to see these characters that everyone loves in their own standalone. They get their own time to shine in series or movie or whatever. I mean, we're getting Black Widow, so I think Phase Four is kind of, you know, really giving us a chance to take a look at all of these characters individually. So then, whenever they finally cross over again, I mean, we're going to have a completely new relationship with all these characters. And I think it's genius, especially with
Yeah.
them doing it through Disney Plus. I mean, this has never been done before. And Marvel so far is absolutely killing it. I mean they've had two hits already. Loki's off to a great start. So I mean,
Yeah.
I can Marvel stumble? I don't know. I mean, literally otherwise than Marvel time travel is weird. Loki was amazing. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see more. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. No, Loki is I think it has like the highest viewership for like the first day. So every time Marvel's a show come out, they break their own record.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody loves Loki. I mean, Loki is probably the most popular villain in the MCU, and so now he's finally getting his own solo thing. So, I mean, my uncle was just saying like, "Hey, isn't that Loki show coming out?" And he hasn't really been interested in WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, or whatever, but he's interested in Loki. He knows Loki's coming out. So,
Nice.
so I mean, it's people love Loki. And so I don't know. I doubt this record will be broken with What If. Uh,
I don't
I
know, man. What if looks
It
crazy?
looks crazy for Marvel fans, but I think for the general audience, I think it's going to be a weird one. So, and I think Loki really appeals to general audience because everybody saw
Mhm.
Endgame. Everybody knows what's going on. So, I mean, it used to be the highest grossing film of all time. So, and this cut comes directly after Endgame. So I think this really captures the general audience really well. Whereas WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier were really made for fans.
I think Falcon Winter Soldier was general audience. WandaVision was weird. I dug it,
Yeah,
but
well,
WandaVision was weird.
yeah, but still, I mean, to really appreciate Falcon Winter Soldier, I think you really need to know the Captain America history, uh, and a lot of the comics too. They have a lot of they had a lot of callbacks to the
Mhm.
comics in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I think to fully appreciate Falcon and Winter Soldier, you really needed to go to know what was going on and be a diehard Marvel fan. But with this has never happened before. So I mean, this is
Yeah.
this is a
I mean,
completely original story. So
I think Loki will get weird, which I'm excited about.
yeah,
I think as it goes on, people are gonna
you
get.
think it'll get weirder than WandaVision?
You don't know how you get weirder than WandaVision, but if any show is going to, it would be this.
Or Legends of Tomorrow? One
Legends
of
of
the two.
Tomorrow is just like it's brain candy. Like they had the animated episode last week where they part
Oh
of it
man,
was animated. It was
I'm
ridiculous. It was
so
great.
I need to catch up on that. I say that every time you mention Legends of Tomorrow because I know I would love that show. It's just I gotta start watching it again. That the fact that they had an animated episode
It
is
wasn't a
just
full episode. It was just part of it, but it was
yeah,
great. It
that's
was
still
so funny.
hilarious to me. Like that sounds awesome. Well, there we go. Does that
Um,
wrap up
that's
our
Loki.
discussion with
Um,
Loki? Yeah,
yeah, that's Loki. We had a lot of Marvel news break with us this week, though.
yeah,
I think the biggest being the Black Panther 2 villain is Namor. We're gonna get
yeah.
the introduction of Namor. Finally, fans have been wanting this for literally years, and it was reported earlier that Tenoch Huerta was going to be playing a mystery villain, and we were able to confirm with our sources that it's going to be Namor, and that the two Mayan warriors they're looking to cast are going to be Namora and Atuma. So we're going to really, it looks like, be diving into, sorry the pun,
Diving into
I
to
know, I heard
Namor.
it, into some Atlantic stuff. So very, very excited for that, and that's going to be very, very cool.
That's awesome. I wonder. I don't think that we'll be able to get a Namor standalone film, but I know everybody wants one. So if they can, hopefully this is building up to that. If not, then because they still have the weird rights issue stuff with Universal. It's kind of same with
Yeah.
Hulk.
I mean,
So,
there
so
are ways around it. They've done it
yeah,
with Hulk, and I actually
and
wrote a
well, and
feature.
apparently they're doing it with Black Panther and Namor. So
Yeah, yeah. And I actually wrote a feature about it because Namor is so connected to so many things in the comics that they already look to be setting up. He's a mutant. He's connected to the Fantastic Four. He's connected to Doctor Doom. Like tons of these things. He's connected to the Illuminati. And then he's connected to an old school team that he was on with Captain America called the Invaders. I actually think they could adjust it a little bit and tie in Isaiah Bradley, which would be a very
that'd
cool
be
way to
cool.
do that. And then he's connected to this team called the Defenders. Now, not like the Netflix version of the Defenders. This is Doctor Strange, Hulk, and Namor. So that would be the perfect opportunity to have a Hulk and Namor movie with Doctor
Yeah,
Strange as the tie-in of, no, it's still MCU. It's fine.
yeah. Well, they'll call it Doctor Strange, and then then put in all the other characters, like what they did with Civil War. It's like, well, this is a Captain America movie, but it's actually an Avengers movie, which is so weird. Like you would think that you would want to market that as an Avengers movie, because but I guess it still made $1 billion. But no, I mean,
Yeah.
Namor coming to the MCU is super cool. I mean, fans have been asking for this for a long time. And yeah, the MCU finally has their answer to Aquaman.
Yeah,
Woo!
right.
Uh,
Well,
so
Namor is great because he's actually, I think, he's actually the first anti-hero like in comics because he's one of the first characters ever introduced from Marvel Comics before it was actually Marvel Comics. He was introduced with Timely Comics, which is the Marvel predecessor. So he's a really interesting character because he's gonna be an antagonist in Black Panther. He can be an anti-hero. He's like got this hair trigger anger issues. So if he is a hero, it's always kind of little iffy. So I think he's just a really cool character to get into because a lot of the heroes in Marvel, they're just heroes. They're straight up
yeah,
heroes. Not much else like to go with that. I think Loki's probably one of the closest to anti-hero, and even he usually is like just kind of doing it for himself anyways. So no, I think this is an excellent addition. Like we said, fans have wanted this forever, you know?
do
So
we
I'm glad we're getting it.
do we still not know who the protagonist of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is going to be?
I mean Wakanda, right?
Well, okay, but I mean, is there going to be like a hero, or is it literally just going to be the Wakanda people are all going to go up against Namor?
I would guess it's gonna be like this is just something I'm guessing based on just like the fact that Namor is the bad guy.
Yeah.
I would guess and I think Fandom Wire even reported a while ago that it's gonna be kind of Wakanda versus Atlantis.
Okay. That'd be cool.
So
Because I
yeah,
mean, before, like, obviously, we can't have Chadwick Boseman, but I feel like if Chadwick Boseman is still around, I mean, obviously he would be the main hero and he would fight Namor.
yeah,
But now there is no main hero, so I mean, it would be cool just to have it be almost like a Marvel war movie. I
yeah,
guess like between Wakanda and Atlantis. That'd be pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be awesome. So I actually
yeah.
kind
I
of
mean, I think the heroes is just gonna be kind of the established characters of
yeah.
Wakanda. Like we'll probably have M'Baku come back. I'm sure we'll have a Okoye, Shuri, Nakia, like all those guys, because we already kind of know they're coming back. So I think that's the right move there.
Here's a
I don't.
here's kind of a question that I don't really know if it has a right or wrong answer, but like, do you replace Black Panther? Like, do you make a new Black Panther?
In the comics, sure, he becomes Black Panther for a while.
Yeah,
So it's not without precedent. I think you can have a new Black Panther. I don't know that you have a new T'Challa. And I know
yeah,
that Kevin Feige has said he doesn't want to recast, which I understand. I also understand some of the fans that are not super happy about that because T'Challa is a very important character. So I think they can do a new Black Panther without issue. I'm just curious to see how they do it.
right.
In like canon wise, all the like magic flowers got burned. So I don't know how you do it like of them getting the power either.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I was just curious, like, you know, because do we even need a successor to
I
T'Challa?
think we need a Black Panther.
You
I do.
do? Okay.
I think that's a really, really important hero. And it's for a lot of reasons. So
Mhm.
I think we do need a new Black Panther. I just am curious who it's going to be. Are they going to go with Shuri like in the comics?
Yeah.
Are they going to have one of the other characters? Don't know. Should be
Killmonger,
interesting.
right? That's what the internet wants.
Who's dead? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I that's what I see on Facebook a lot. It's like they should just bring back Michael B. Jordan to be Black Panther. It's like, okay, that would ruin his death in the first movie. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, but otherwise, yeah, Namor, Black Panther 2, that's gonna be awesome. So I mean, they teased
Yeah.
him in Endgame, so we knew it was coming.
Hmm.
But here we are, Black Panther
Yeah.
2.
I mean, Namor's huge. Like he ties into so much stuff. He ties into teams that are possibilities for the future. He ties into things we know are coming, like Fantastic Four and the mutants. He actually ties in, like Atlantis ties into vampires, so there could be a connection to Blade.
Or
Like
even
Namor is,
Morbius.
yeah. If they're gonna do that, sure.
Yeah.
Doubt it. But like Namor's huge. I think that he is a character that is gonna be like really prominent
Yeah,
throughout phase 4 and maybe 5. So I think that it's very cool that we're getting introduced to him, and I think this is a really solid movie for that because there is an
right.
established like in the comics uh like conflict between Wakanda and Atlantis. So I think it's going to be epic. I mean, come on. Like
Yeah.
Atlantis versus Wakanda. I want that movie like tomorrow.
Yeah. No, that will definitely be an epic showdown nonetheless. I mean, that man. I mean Wakanda, like the Wakanda, I guess series, franchise, whatever you want to call it, sounds like they've got some really cool ideas because I mean Wakanda Forever, apparently we're getting this Wakanda versus Atlantis war. We're getting another Wakanda series. We don't know what that's really going to be yet. And then we're also getting an Okoye series. We had a lot
Yep.
of Wakanda featured in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I think
Mhm.
Wakanda just in general is going to be almost as huge to the MCU as maybe even the multiverse. You know.
Yeah.
So I
I mean,
mean,
I like that the MCU is kind of getting away from being so centralized in the United States.
yeah,
Uh, I get it, but also having it expand is going to be really important, especially with the introduction of like a lot of concepts like
yeah.
mutants in Doctor Doom and the Fantastic
Well, it
Four.
wasn't even just the United States. It was like New York for that matter. I mean, it
Yeah,
was a city in the United States that
yeah,
like the entire universe was centered around. So, no, it's really cool to see them like expand out to different locations and, stuff like this doesn't just happen in New York. It happens all around the world. And so,
why does anyone live in New York in the MCU?
yeah. Well, it's just like Gotham
Yeah,
in the DC universe. Just like why would you do that to yourself? It's just like I don't know. And for that matter, Detroit in the real world. But no, that was a joke, by the way. Anyway, I don't actually.
um,
I've never been to Detroit. I don't actually know what it's like. Let me point that out. Okay, moving on.
we had some Disney Plus Marvel TV stuff for exclusives. We were able to break the news that Jamila Jamil will be playing Titania as the villain of She-Hulk. Very, very long and
Yeah.
well-established enemy, kind of the arch enemy of She-Hulk. So that'll be very cool to see. And it's gonna be none other than Jamila Jamil, who is awesome. Like she killed
Yeah,
it in The Good Place. So they are like kind of what they did with WandaVision, I think, bringing in Kat Dennings and Randall Park. They're going, okay, let's get a comedy powerhouse to come in here so that we can really make sure we have that covered. Because Tatiana Maslany was awesome in Parks and Rec. Don't get me wrong, she totally got the comedy chops. But that's not necessarily what she's known for. She's known for Orphan Black. So bringing in someone where they're established in the sitcom world is really, really
yeah,
cool. And this version of Titania is not like exactly what you're expecting from the comics. It's got more of this social media, like Kardashian feel to her. So it weirdly feels very similar to Jamila Jamil's character from The Good Place, Tahani.
yeah. I mean, it really shows that Marvel is really going full full on this the sitcom aspect for She-Hulk. And it's just like,
Yep.
you know, you go, okay, they're making a She-Hulk series. You don't automatically go, oh, so they're making a sitcom. I mean, this was fairly unexpected for me, and so, but I mean, they are going all in on this. So, I mean, She-Hulk. I mean, that's going to be really intriguing to see. Like, what in the world are they doing with this show, and how do you make a sitcom with these characters? Because the Hulk family, they've all got some pretty dark background. Uh,
What do you mean? They're the most lighthearted characters in the MCU.
yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to see where the comedy is going to come into play.
No,
You
I
know,
mean, She-Hulk being a legal comedy, the way they're leaning into the Hulk stuff being kind of this legal comedy is crazy. It's going to be, I think, awesome. But it also seems a little bit more like a niche at this point because so many people don't know what to expect. But they also have a really impressive cast. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to be great.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
really
gonna be
excited.
awesome.
Like I'm really excited to see Jamila Jamil again. I'm excited to see her play like an actual villain because she was like at the beginning of The Good Place, she was kind of like selfish and stuff. But to see her go on full on and be an actual villain is going to be very cool. Uh, I don't know. Like I'm really excited. So I can't
Yeah,
wait for this. And I don't know what to say about it because I don't know what to expect. I'm
yeah.
like, what is the show
That's
gonna
that's
be?
pretty much all of these Disney Plus shows. It's just like you don't know what to expect.
Yep.
It's honestly really working for them because it's just like, you know, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, it's just the curiosity of it. Like, they aren't just going back to the same old cut and paste. This is how you make a comic book story. I mean, they are doing like very different, unique things with all of these Disney Plus shows so far, and it's not really something you get to see very often anymore in the comic book movie TV genre. And so I think it's awesome that Marvel has been able to pull this off.
And speaking of crazy Marvel, we've got some more news on What If. So we revealed, not this previous week, but the week before, that they were details about Party Thor, details about the kind of post Ultron Cataclysm Black Widow. We have new information on the Captain Carter story. It looks like Steve Rogers will not be becoming Captain America because of an injury. So that's very interesting because we're going to be finding out how that goes down. A toy leak broke the news that Steve's Iron Man armor is going to be called the Hydra Stomper, which great name. And then D23 reported a while ago, and we talked about this, that she's called Captain Carter, not Captain Britain, like people were assuming. And I mean, like that, it's just gonna sound like a crazy awesome episode. I mean, I think the thing
Yeah.
I'm most curious about with What If is how are they gonna do these stories in half an hour?
Yeah. I mean, what if I I think this might be the show to rival WandaVision in pure craziness. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it'll quite make it there, but I think it'll come close. I mean, what if is just going to be absolute bananas. Like, I mean, it is exactly what comic book fans should expect in a what if show. I mean, it is
Mm-hmm.
literally just a bunch of just alternate universe whatever nonsense, and I think it's going to be great. I mean, like I said, Disney Plus has shown that with our Marvel has shown with the Disney Plus shows that they are able to just go absolutely crazy, do whatever they want, and it works. So if it works for WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki, I think it's gonna work for What If as well. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's gonna be awesome, and it is the first animated project in the MCU, so that's also
Yep.
something to be intrigued about. You know.
And we have more details on another episode of What If, the Gamora episode, where she is going to be hunting down Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So we're going to be seeing Tony Stark again, which I think is like we kind of knew that from the trailers, but it's going to be very cool and very exciting. And we're going to see Gamora hunting him down. So what's going on with that? Did Thanos send her after him? Like, whoa, lots of questions. I feel like every time more information comes out about What If, it just causes more questions.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's kind of the whole point of the show, isn't it? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, it is what if this happened instead of this? And honestly, these what ifs could spawn their own what ifs of the what if,
Yeah,
So, I mean, this is literally a show that could go on forever and not get stale,
yeah.
because it is literally, I mean, it's just a bunch of alternate scenarios and this sort of, I'm assuming, anthology format. These weird characters might interact with each other at some point. You don't know that for sure, but as of right now, from what we understand, it's just a bunch of weird Elseworlds anthology in the Marvel universe, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean the What If comics are very cool, very crazy like this. One of the things that's so cool about this too is like I would love a show about Captain Carter.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah,
guessing with every episode we're gonna be like, can we get a full show of this,
yeah.
please? Like,
Well, it's just like whenever WandaVision was coming out, everybody's asking for a Jimmy Woo show, and still
yeah.
asking, by the way. That'd be awesome. But I think this has a lot of spin-off potential too. I mean, like, it's so weird to think of, but it's just like, if people want it and they're gonna watch it, why not make it? It's Disney Plus, so there's no network to abide by. I mean, Marvel pretty much just gets to do whatever they want because they've proven they know what they're doing. So, I mean, I feel like if Marvel wants to make a Captain Carter show, it'll get made. If Marvel wants to make a Jimmy Woo show, it'll get made. So, I mean, bring it on. I mean, like I'll take honestly whatever weird Marvel spinoff they throw at us. I mean,
Right.
because they've proven that they can do it. So, no, yeah, it's awesome.
And we actually had some other She-Hulk news that got revealed by the Direct, which is the other site that Richard works at. Right, Bryce?
Yeah,
So that is interesting news. It is that it looks like Hulk's son,
yeah,
Scar, hope I'm pronouncing that right,
yeah,
is going to be showing up on She-Hulk, which
yeah.
is
That is interesting
crazy.
because he comes from Sakaar. His
Hmm.
name is Scar, and so Sakaar is the planet from Thor Ragnarok, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
This
So,
means Hulk had a kid while he was there for
but there was
however
no
many years.
mention of this wife, girlfriend, whatever. And
I mean, Hulk was like kind of a big deal there.
yeah,
So it
I
wouldn't be a
mean,
shock to me. It also wouldn't be a shock to me if he didn't know about the kid. Because why
yeah.
would Bruce know?
And so, I mean, Scar was born after Sakaar was decimated, and how do you pronounce the name of the woman? Sierra,
Ciara?
Ciara, is that what it is? I don't
Maybe. I
know,
don't.
but she was eventually lost. And Hulk has no idea that Scar, his son, is alive. So, but
That's from the comics,
yeah, it's
right?
from the comics. So, are we getting like a young toddler Scar? Because, I mean, or like a young
Well,
kid Scar? Because
if
this
you
wasn't
think
that long
about it,
ago.
think about it for a second. All of the weird portals, right? They messed with time. So the one that they went into, yeah, that got him to uh like Asgard really quickly, but initially they were going to go to one that would take like 18 months. So maybe the kid takes a portal that gets him to Earth, but it's like 20 years his time.
Maybe. Yeah, this is gonna be weird. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with this. It's gonna be interesting. Hulk having a kid, and I really don't know what to think of this. Like I'm trying to formulate a thought, but there just isn't anything. I don't know. I just can't really imagine MCU Bruce Banner with a kid. And it's
Well,
gonna
it's
be
not Bruce Banner, like that is the point. It wasn't Bruce Banner that had a kid because he does like Bruce
yeah.
Banner in Age of Ultron says he can't have kids, but looks like Hulk has proven him wrong.
Now, how does that work? So Hulk can have kids, but
I don't want to know.
yeah. So anywho, okay,
Yeah.
sounds fun.
I mean, like we said, She-Hulk's gonna be weird and crazy. We don't know what to do with it, but we
Yeah,
are excited to see it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, power to them. I mean, like I said, Marvel has the straightest away with the Disney Plus show. So if Hulk's gonna have a kid and She-Hulk, yeah, sure, bring it on. Let's see what they do with it.
And then in the movie side, again, we got a new Black Widow clip. We
Yeah,
got some Black Widow behind the scenes video, so we got to see some like Taskmaster in action. And we also found out that Black Widow will be available on Disney Plus without the premiere fee October 6th. Now,
yeah,
whoever is actually going to wait until October 6th to watch this, I commend you. Very impressive. You will be spoiled.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's like for Raya and the Last Dragon, I waited because it's just like it's there's not really huge spoilers there. It's not an existing franchise that like everybody's talking about as a new film, and so I wasn't really too worried about getting spoiled. And I
you
didn't.
also probably wouldn't
I
you also probably
waited
wouldn't
all the way.
understand the spoilers for that.
What? What was that?
You probably wouldn't have understood the spoilers
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
because
So I
it
wouldn't
was
even
like a new
understand the
world.
spoilers. Yeah. So I waited till it was free, and I enjoyed it just fine. I will not be able to do that on this one, so hopefully I will be able to see it in the theater, or else I will have to go against everything I stand for and buy it on Premiere Access. So
I mean, if there's any movie to do that with, it's probably this one.
yeah, because I mean, looking at the behind the scenes video, holy cow! People are sleeping on this movie, man. I mean,
Yeah,
this is gonna be something really really cool. I think. I mean, the action looks absolutely crazy.
it
Uh,
looks intense.
and it's the MCU debut of Taskmaster. I mean, hello, like, are you guys paying like Black Widow? Like, come on, like so. And also, this movie should have happened in Phase One. So we're finally getting a
Yeah.
Black Widow movie starring Scarlett Johansson. I mean, what's not to look forward to in Black Widow? This movie's gonna be sick. I mean, I can't wait. And it's the first Marvel movie in like a year and a half, folks. I mean, we all gotta go see Black Widow. I mean, if you can't go see it and if you're not vaccinated or you're still worried about COVID, there's definitely still premiere access. But I mean, this movie's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the clip showed um, Black Widow and Yelena Belova running away from what looked like spies from the Red Room. So that's going to be crazy. The behind the scenes showed this giant armored like tank car
Yeah.
speeding down, chasing them.
Yeah, just
There's a
literally, just like they're literally driving an actual tank. This isn't special effect, actual tank
yeah.
down Budapest, like down the street
Um,
in Budapest. It is unreal. Like they really highlighted in the behind the scenes that like there's really not a lot of special effect. Like a lot of this stuff is just real,
yeah.
So I mean, they're doing a lot of practical effects on this movie, uh,
We
and you don't
saw
really see that a lot anymore. So that's gonna be really
no.
cool.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to do practical effects for like WandaVision because it would just be her standing there doing
Avengers
this.
Endgame.
Right. But no, we saw Taskmaster like fighting. We saw him doing like an exploding arrow with a bow and arrow. We saw a giant prison fight where they said there were like 400 extras just
Yeah.
fake beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Like, um, this looks crazy. It looks crazy in the best way possible, and it's so funny because this is the movie that everyone is expecting to be, I guess, tame in comparison. When if you look at like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and like Thor: Love and Thunder, what we're expecting from those, I get the expectation because it's not a giant team up movie, but man, Black Widow looks epic.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that it was going to be as crazy looking as it is. I mean, like people are sleeping on this movie. Like people need to check out these trailers and behind the scenes stuff and these clips because like this movie's going to be awesome and I feel like a lot of people are going to skip on it,
Yeah.
which is kind of disappointing, you know. I think well no, it's not the first female focused MCU movie, but I
No,
mean
it's
this
first with Black Widow.
yeah, and
And
so
probably only with Black Widow.
yeah, and I feel like people go, "Oh, she doesn't have any superpowers, so who cares?" It's like, what? I mean, like really, Captain America, he's just got enhanced strength. I mean, I feel like a lot of this movie kind of is giving me a Winter Soldier vibes with the action and
Yep.
stuff. So, like, if you like Winter Soldier, which a lot of people say is their favorite MCU villain movie, uh, you're gonna, I think you're gonna love Black Widow. So, I mean, I don't really know why people are sleeping on this. Like, this is gonna
Because
be one of
we've
the
been
better
waiting.
MCU movies, and
Because we've
all
been
the
waiting
MCU
for it
movies.
so long.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
I
I
think the
mean,
anticipation for it was like a year and a half ago, and now we're just like, can you give it to us, please?
yeah. When was the first Black Widow trailer we got?
Oh
Was it
God, I
last
don't even
year?
remember.
Yeah.
It was like it might have been 2019.
Are you
I
certain that
I
can't
think
be?
so. I mean, think why would they release a trailer last year? If they did, it was gonna be in like February.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's finally coming out here soon. What, July 9th, right?
Yep, less than a
So
month away.
yeah, it's crazy. Well, the MCU is finally coming back to the big screen after
Yes.
when was it? When did Far From Home come out? Like what month? June of 2019?
I think yeah, it wasn't too long after Endgame.
Yeah. Well, it was to the point where they had to have a warning in front of the trailer for
Yeah.
spoilers. So, and they waited a long time for that trailer. Like I like it was like only like a month or so before the movie came out, right? We finally got a trailer for Spider-Man.
Who remembers 2019 at this point,
Yeah.
honestly? Like,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That was a long time ago, but yeah, I mean,
um,
I'm looking forward to Black Widow. It's gonna be awesome. I don't care what stupid idiots on the internet say. Like that, this movie's gonna be like a really good action flick. I think in the MCU, it's gonna be like a spy thriller. Like if you like James Bond, if you like Captain America, you're gonna love this movie. Check it out. But
yeah.
there we go. There's my Black Widow rant. Go watch the movie.
And we're actually gonna wrap up Marvel with some more Loki news. With Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, so apparently, according to Tom Hiddleston, which Marvel actors, directors, you name it, are known to mislead the audience, but I think I'm kind of buying this one. Tom Hiddleston is saying that he's not going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder, and I kind of buy it because there's really oddly no reason for him to be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, his story with Thor, I think, is done. I mean, he sacrificed himself for Thor. This Loki has nothing to do with Thor anymore. He's a time traveling super spy agent, whatever. So I mean, his Loki's story now is completely separate from Thor. I mean, Loki's story is Loki's story now, and so I really don't think he has any reason to be in Thor: Love and Thunder. So I'm honestly kind of okay with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, it would be almost a like post-credit scene either in Thor or in Loki where he's in a peripheral shot of something going on in Thor: Love and Thunder. So we almost see that he's like maybe gone through one of those doors that the TVA has, like just to kind of check on Thor to make sure he's okay.
Yeah,
Because this version of Loki, he had that emotional gut punch of, oh God, I was wrong.
yeah,
So maybe he's checking up to make sure Thor's good, but I don't see like that would be the most I would
yeah.
expect, because Thor: Love and Thunder's got what all the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
It's got
Jane
Jane
Foster,
Foster
Thor.
coming
Yeah,
back. We're gonna have Valkyrie. Taika Waititi's space sharks. Like, this movie's gonna be crazy. So
yeah,
I think not including Loki is not the worst thing, because I would also like to see Thor maybe dealing with the fact that Loki is gone, because you almost like having him kind of expect Loki to show up would be a really interesting plot point.
yeah. I mean, it's just I think, like I said, I think their story's done. I think they've kind of
At least
done,
for now.
at least for now. I mean, yeah, sure. There's maybe at points to where they could cross over down the line, but I think right now there's just nowhere else for the two of them to go together. I think they need to kind of develop on their own separately and then maybe bring the two together. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I mean, the two of them have no reason to team up or whatever. I mean, Loki's doing Loki stuff, Thor's doing Thor stuff. I think we should keep it that way for a while. And then if they want to bring them back in sort of an epic reunion, I think that'd be really cool. But in like
Yeah.
Thor 5 or 6, if they do that many. So I mean, because
Yeah.
I mean Thor 4 is unprecedented. So and we're just now getting Captain America 4, but that's not Steve Rogers. So
The
you could
new
almost
Captain
say this is
America.
like a whole different series with Sam Wilson now being the star. So Thor is the first person to have a fourth solo movie. So I don't know. It's
Correct.
going to be interesting to see where they go with that.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I'm super psyched it's Taika Waititi doing the fourth
Yeah,
movie. I can't imagine someone else doing that right now.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird though. I see I see online it's either you love or you hate the Taika Waititi Thor, and I think it's mostly love. But there's a few people who like really hate the comedic approach to Thor. It's just like, what? Like, isn't that what Thor is supposed to be? At least in the at least in
In
the
the
Marvel
MCU.
universe, you
In the
know.
MCU,
And
yeah. And
if this were Norse Thor, like, yeah, like this would be weird. But this is Marvel Thor. This isn't Norse mythology Thor. So I think you should expect a little dim-witted comedic humor. I mean, that's
well,
kind of what I expect in Thor.
from what I've been told, like old school comic Thor was a little bit more serious and dramatic. But for the MCU, this works.
Yeah,
Chris Hemsworth is awesome at comedy. So
yeah,
lean into it, you
yeah.
know. I mean, they
I would love
tried
it.
the super dramatic. It didn't really work.
Yeah, you guys remember Thor and Thor Love and or Thor the Dark World? Like, you want to go back to that? Like, are you serious? Like Thor the Dark World is arguably the worst MCU movie. Like, are you really want to go back in that direction? Like, I don't know. Like,
Age of Ultron.
well, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, well, jeez, I don't know. Those two are so bad. Like, oh man. I mean, Marvel. They're not always perfect. They have had a few
I had
stinkers.
I
Like,
had to rewatch those. One for something I was writing, and then the other, like Thor, for prepping for Loki. They're not good. I'm not going to argue that. They're not as bad as I remembered,
okay.
but they're not good. Like, I must have just, because I remember I was like, never again. And now I'm like, I mean, I could. It's not like my first pick, but I could.
Yeah. I mean, probably the only reason why I'll ever watch those movies again is if I do like a Marvel marathon.
Right? You kind
Like,
of need them.
there's there's no other reason for me to go back to Age of Ultron or Thor: The Dark World. Like those, ugh, man, yeah. Those. I mean, Thor: The Dark World especially is just boring. I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
really there. And then he just ends up defeating Christopher Eccleston with just some metal stick, and that's it. It's just like that's how you defeat the main bad guy. Like, okay, you're
Well, they
Thor.
also they
Like,
bring Jane Foster to Asgard, and she's like super interested in it, and then doesn't do much with that, which I thought was a little disappointing
well,
because
it's so Rocket can go and get the Infinity
I
Stone.
so want a short of how all of them stole it, like seeing Rocket actually do that. But the one I want so bad is a short of Captain America returning it. Can you imagine him chasing Jane Foster around with like a syringe? Hold still, I have to put it back. What is wrong with you? And I want to see
Yeah, wait a
Rocket
minute. I
steal
never
it from
thought of
her.
that one. That's oh man, that's
Yep, he gets to like return the Soul Stone. It's Red Skull. He's like, no, just take it. not dealing with this.
Yeah, like think about that for a second. Like those two had to like reunite. Like what? I want to see that so bad. Like those two reuniting. Like that is something that is so crazy that happened, but we didn't get to see. And
Hmm.
so yeah, they need to do like a 6-part miniseries, one episode for each stone, where Captain America is returning all the Infinity Stones. Like that'd be awesome.
And I would have loved to see Rocket actually take it. Like we saw him sneaking up on her with the syringe, but I'm like, what did that look like to Jane Foster? Some weird raccoon just shows up and stabs her and is like, "Don't worry about it, it's fine." What? Did she not
Yeah,
like
well,
like backhand him? I would have been like screaming, like, what the heck is going on?
yeah,
So no, I love it. It's some of that stuff you're just like, give me the crazy. MCU is
right,
nuts.
yeah,
Give me the crazy.
yeah, yeah. Bring it on, Disney Plus. Let's do it. What if?
Right?
Oh, see, there you go. That's an episode. Just literally Captain America returning all the Infinity Stones and having to.
I wouldn't mind if it was animated as long as I could get it. I
Yes, seriously,
so
or at
want to
least
see
even
that.
like a comic, like an in universe canon comic. I think that'd be pretty
Hmm.
cool. But there we
But
go.
that is our Marvel news for the week. Like we said, it was a lot
Yeah.
of Marvel stuff. And please join us Tuesday nights at 11:40 p.m. Pacific for our Marvel Loki watch along. Like I said, it's me, it's Richard, it's Brax, it's TC. Lots of fun. We talk our expectations at the beginning of the show. Watch the episode and you'll have our crazy reactions, which
Yeah.
usually includes Richard's face journey or
Oh
me just
yeah.
making fun of his face journey. And then, we do our wrap up and post show analysis, speculation, all that craziness. So please join us. It is always a blast. But now I think we are going to move into Star Wars, which I think
What?
this might be our biggest Star Wars news day in a long time.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of Star Wars stuff to talk about today.
We're going to start off, of course, with the Bad Batch. And we finally had the return of Rex
Yeah, a little sooner than expected, I think.
by a lot. And that
Yeah,
was the scene from the trailer.
yeah,
So I don't know that we're going to get him back.
yeah. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't really know why they did it like this. Because it seems like they were setting up a lot of stuff for like end game material, and it's now I'm just kind of going, where is this show going now? Because we also, I guess we're jumping ahead a little bit, but we also see the removal of the inhibitor chips
Mm-hmm.
really early, a lot earlier than expected, and
Yeah.
it's it's weird. I mean, like, cause
This
I
episode was paced weird. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I
this
I
feels
would have
like it should be at least like not maybe not the finale, but like end game, like saga material,
well,
like you
we're
know, like the
we're
last arc.
about we're at about mid-season.
Yeah,
So it's not a total shock. My issue is I wish it had been a 2 or 3 episode arc because they didn't seem to truly understand the dangers of the inhibitor chip. I would have liked to see them have to deal with that and just live in that for a little bit. Um, it felt very, this is a problem, here's the solve. I would have liked Rex to go away to find the place to take it out and have the Bad Batch then kind of be
yeah,
paranoid about each other or something along those lines. That would have been cool. I mean, Rex came back and I was disappointed we didn't see him and Echo interact more. I would have liked to
yeah,
see that, especially when Rex mentioned Fives, because him and Echo, like Fives and Echo, literally grew up together. Like they were on the only survivors of their team. So it just felt like a little bit. This episode it wasn't bad.
yeah.
I was more annoyed about it when I watched it during the watch along. I watched it again. I just feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities.
For sure, yeah. And by the way, see you, Donnie Pearson. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. But yeah, I mean, this episode maybe I don't know. Maybe it shouldn't be one of the later episodes, but it definitely feels like that this episode came too soon. Like it honestly feels like that Disney Plus did an oopsie and ordered this episode before it was supposed to. Like that's really what it felt like to me because it's just like you know we're building up an inhibitor chip. We're like where's Rex coming? Like we get teases of Rex, but and we got teases of Rex last episode, but I didn't think that they would go like next episode and go, okay, here's Rex, and same thing for the inhibitor chip stuff. Like I thought, like basically, it was going to be the entire squad loses it, and then Omega has to save them. She has to find Rex or something. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen, and I thought that was going to be sort of their end game for season one. And then maybe they try and go find Crosshair and get the inhibitor chip out of him. Um, by the way, we haven't seen him in a while, but
I'm hoping we get him next week or
yeah,
this week.
but yeah, that's kind of where I thought they were going, and I honestly would have preferred that's where they went. They didn't. Here we are, and so, but I mean, otherwise, it was cool to see Rex back. I mean,
Wrecker
um,
killed it this episode.
yeah, Record was awesome. Like whenever he full on lost it, like that was really cool. And then him kind of him talking with Omega afterwards about it. I thought that was really cool. It really shows their bond.
Him
Uh,
and Omega in the start were hilarious. They're like,
yeah, yeah,
please let us get the space popcorn. Yay! And then run outside. You're like, they're such siblings. That's
yeah.
ridiculous.
And then only like 15 minutes later, he's trying to kill her. But you know,
I loved his apology so
yeah,
much.
no, it was really emotional, and I think it really highlights the fact that these clones, they know what they're doing, but they just
Hmm.
can't stop it, which is so like tragic. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because they know that they are killing their comrades, but they have no other choice. They have to do it. And so I think it's a really interesting take on it that I don't think really gets explored as much. I think we saw a little bit in the Clone Wars finale with like the tear running down Rex's face as he's getting ready to shoot Ahsoka.
Well,
That
no,
like,
that was after. That was when his chip was out,
are you sure?
or maybe it was both. I know he did
I
it
think I
after
think it
too
was
when
both.
she took off his helmet, so it might have been both.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure like as he's getting ready to shoot Ahsoka because she's good soldiers follow orders, blah
Yeah,
blah blah, whatever. Like there's literally like he's like
that
holding it
wouldn't
out,
surprise me.
and
I
and there's a
maybe
tear
not
running down
remember,
his
but I wouldn't
face,
surprise me. I
and
do remember the one when she takes off his helmet.
yeah, and so it really shows like they know what's going on, and it's just like damn, like that is
Mhm.
brutal, like that is
We
insane.
also had the setup from Rex of an interesting mystery. He said very few clones are immune to the inhibitor chip. So does that mean he's come across other clones who are immune? And
Yeah,
if so, who? Because it can't be Wolf
yeah,
and it can't be Gregor because we
yeah.
saw the scars on their head. So who else is immune?
Well, it's not Cody. It's
No, Cody's
um,
immune. He's just like, yes, I finally get to kill Obi-Wan.
yeah, yeah. He was immune, but like Obi-Wan like pissed him off the night before, and so
Always telling me what to do. I'm gonna
yeah,
take care of that.
man, I hate that Obi-Wan guy. But
Twist. Cody was evil the whole
yeah,
time.
oh man, that'd be great. Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe. Actually, you know, kind of going off sidetrack because I have no idea who it could be. But um, will we see Cody at some point in Bad Batch?
No idea. I
I
wouldn't
feel
be
like we
shocked.
need
I
to
mean,
see Cody in something because he was
Here's
a
the
pretty
thing
major
with
character.
all here's the thing with all the clones. They can bring them back whenever they want. It's the same voice actor. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're like, this might be the last time we see Rex, but also why? It's D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. So, I mean, but story wise, I mean, do you think it
Yeah.
makes sense for Cody to show up at some point?
He was the one who called the Bad Batch during their arc in Clone Wars. So there is a connection there.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
in
definitely a
Legends,
possibility.
wasn't he training stormtroopers?
I don't know, I haven't read the Legends.
So I think that's the case. I think in Legends, like he was
Well, I
one of
think
the
they're
major
all
people.
training
Yeah.
stormtroopers.
So, but I think he was like one of like the main people, and he wasn't happy
Yeah.
about it.
It
Like
wouldn't surprise me.
so, um, but yeah, I think we got to see Cody in something at some point.
Yeah.
Because he's like the one major clone that we're missing that we really haven't seen his whereabouts post Revenge of the Sith.
Hmm.
So I think it'd be cool to see him in Bad Batch. I don't know if we will in season one, but maybe sometime down the line. I think it'd be really cool to see like what he's been up to and him training stormtroopers. I think we got to see a lot more of that. Like because that
Yeah.
was the one thing I was looking forward to in Bad Batch, and we got it right there at the beginning. I'm like, okay, this show's awesome, and we haven't really got it since. So,
Yeah, we've
um,
stepped more into the mercenary role, which I like, but
yeah.
I definitely want to check back and see what's going on with Crosshair and the Kaminoans and stuff.
Yeah, we're definitely missing that. So I think, yeah, like you said, I think it's time next week to switch back to Crosshair and the bunch. I think it's time. Because like I said, I mean, this was a huge selling point for me with this show.
Hmm.
Because otherwise it would just be like, okay, just Clone Wars spin off with the Bad Batch. I mean, they were fun in season 7, but whatever, right? Kind of like
And
Andor.
we haven't gotten as much of the season 7 vibe of them either.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, because I think we brought it up, like, is well, not Echo Tech
Tech.
being more of an asshole because of the inhibitor chip, but now the inhibitor chip is out, so
I guess
I
we'll find out.
I guess we'll see. I don't know. Like, I mean, like I said, I really wish they would have made this a much bigger deal than it was. Because I
Yeah.
mean, they were really building it up to where it's like, okay, Wrecker's gonna turn on the team, and they're gonna have to do something about it. And he does for like 2 seconds, but then it's just okay. Everybody's got their chips removed. The end. It's like okay.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was just gonna be a bigger deal.
Yeah, like I said, 2, 3 episode arc I think would have been better for that. Like it didn't even need to be 3. It could have been 2. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like the
Very
pacing was a little off
rushed.
to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wrecker was awesome in this episode. I
Mhm.
love seeing him in Omega. They also had the space popcorn, which they are going to have at Galaxy's Edge, which is the Star Wars land at Disneyland and Disney World. Like,
Yeah.
that's the perfect thing. So
By
it's
the
going to be
yeah.
ridiculous if they don't.
By the way, do we think that we're gonna see Wrecker stop unnecessarily hitting his head? because
I
they
hope
literally
so.
they literally like Wrecker is capable, but they kept getting him in really stupid situations where it's just like this doesn't make sense for this character to get hurt so many times like this. But and it's like I get why they were doing it because they wanted his inhibitor chip to act up, but it's just like
Yeah.
this doesn't really make any sense. Like why is he getting hurt so much? Like so I don't know.
I
Maybe hopefully he'll become more of a sensical member of the team again. I mean, obviously Wrecker was supposed to be this reckless individual, but he was able to hold his own. But
yeah.
basically throughout the whole show so far, he's just basically been a tool. He's been like thrown around the whole time. So I'm hoping now that they've kind of gotten the inhibitor chip plot off to the side that hopefully like he'll actually become like a valuable member to the team because like right now all Wrecker does is get hurt. And so
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it too, and we do have to remember that to a degree, this is a show for kids.
yeah.
Like yes, it's hugely for the vast Star Wars audience that exists, but like Clone Wars and like Rebels, it does have to because it's animated, it does have to have an appeal to kids. So some of our criticism, yes, for us the storytelling could have been better. I also kind of get why for kids they wanted this to get done. I just wish it had been
Yeah.
longer. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Wrecker I'm hoping Wrecker's going to win fights more often. I'm hoping Tech and Echo are going to become their own characters because JD said probably my favorite thing ever on
Yeah.
the watch along last week when he accidentally called them Techo. I'm like, that's totally true. They're one freaking character right now.
You're right.
They
Yeah.
don't differentiate. I was like, I'm using that forever now. Thanks, dude.
Echo. Yeah.
Right?
That
So
makes
I'm
sense
hope
though. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm hoping that they get a chance to maybe focus on the individual clones because it has been so hunter focused. I think because he is kind of this patriarchal figure for the group and for Omega. I
Mhm.
liked that we saw more Wrecker and Omega because that relationship is very important and very cool.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we see a relationship between Omega and Tech and Omega and Echo build out because I think
Yeah.
that's going to be cool. I
Well,
also like that Sid only likes Omega.
yeah, that's pretty funny. I mean, I think with all of the relationships and stuff, I think they want this to be a long running series, like Clone Wars, and so I think a lot of that we're just gonna have to see within time because they have to kind of set up this show before they can really get in super depth with that kind of stuff. So I kind of understand why Teko has been thrown off to the side. Uh, but
But I mean, we're getting to the point where it's a little bit like, okay, you're on the clock. We're like halfway through the show,
but
dude.
yeah, but even like all the crosshair and the Empire stuff, like that's completely gone MIA.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I hope they get back to some of this stuff now.
I definitely do too. So that is our Bad Batch rundown for this week. Please join us on our Star Wars watch along, where we will be watching the Bad Batch starting. That's on Thursdays at 11:40 p.m. Pacific. It is me, Josh, JD, and hopefully Rob again, because Rob was on this week and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, guys, I don't sleep.
Oh man.
Just do watch alongs. It's fine.
Caitlin is on every show here at the Illuminati. No.
Except
But
Power
most
Rangers
of them,
Wrestling.
yeah, most of them though, like every Marvel, DC, Star Wars related show she is. But yeah, no.
It is not a complaint. I love it. It's awesome.
There we
Sleep is
go.
for the weak.
But yeah, we've still got more Star Wars news to talk about, right?
Which never happens. We have 4
Yeah.
Star Wars shows to talk about.
I know. It's crazy.
Let's kick it off with the one that we know is going to be coming the soonest. The Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
They finished filming.
What?
So exciting. That means that we are getting there, guys. We are going to be having this series soon. I cannot wait. And we got we got an update from Tamora Morrison that we're going to learn what Boba Fett has been up to between Return of the Jedi and now, because he kind of got eaten, we all thought, and then just appeared again. So how is he not dead?
Because he's Boba Fett. Boba Fett doesn't die.
Well, how's he not dead? How did he lose his armor? What's he been doing on I am so sorry.
Tatooine?
Yes, Tatooine. Like I know it. Like, so we're gonna get some answers, which is awesome. I'm like, we'll obviously see more Fennec, so I'm hoping we get some setup for that in Bad Batch. And there's rumors that we're gonna see Bosk, who is the Trandoshan, like the lizard-looking guy that's tight with Boba Fett in Clone Wars and in the original trilogy. So that points to us maybe getting some bounty hunter stuff going, which could be really, really cool.
I would sure hope so. It's a Boba Fett show, you know.
I know, but it looked more like he was setting up a crime ring than bounty hunters.
Yeah,
so
but okay.
Cool.
So wait a minute here. If we're exploring what Boba Fett was up to in between his appearance from Return of the Jedi and Mandalorian, does this take place before Mandalorian, or does this take place after Mandalorian with the crime ring
flashbacks.
Stuff? Flashbacks, you think?
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, in the after credits scene, it's very clear that well, yeah, Fennec has to be there. So yeah, it has to take place after Mandalorian. But
I would guess flashbacks, and there's been rumors that we're gonna get Mando. There's been rumors that we're gonna get Cobb Vanth, and the I don't have it written down right now, but there's rumors we're getting a lot of Mandalorian characters.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we at least get Mando, because I don't want to skip ahead too much, but we know that we're not getting Mando for a while. So Mando season 3, that is. So
yeah, I mean, Book of Boba Fett, again, it sounds crazy. It sounds awesome. It's something that Star Wars fans have been wanting literally since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be just insane, and I love that we're gonna get Ming-Na Wen is like a really big character in this, because she did awesome on The Mandalorian, and she's killing it on Bad Batch when she's in there. So I mean, Star Wars is like, yes, Ming-Na Wen, let's take you from the MCU. You're ours now, and I think it's a great call.
Yeah. I mean, she's in the Disney trifecta. I mean, she can do anything. So yeah, no. I mean, more Ming-Na Wen. Say it for me.
Ming-Na Wen.
Yep, thank you. The better. So sorry for completely butchering that. That's my bad.
But, well, like you were talking about a little bit, Bryce, it's gonna be a minute before we get Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
Part of it looks like is the fact that Obi-Wan is filming on the volume right now, which makes sense. I don't see them wanting to build like 6 of those. Like, that would be expensive. And part of it is The Last of Us, looks like, because he has kind of this priority situation where The Last of Us does need to take like first priority
Yeah.
because of the contract he signed. So The Last of Us is supposed to film, I think, starting in the summer, if
Mhm.
I'm not mistaken. I mean, the workaround though is because first position. That's called a first position deal is what he has over at HBO. So, like I said, it basically has to be his first priority. The workaround though is it's mostly voiceover. So
Hmm.
I'm assuming they're not necessarily going to have a huge amount of scenes without the helmet, and maybe they can film all the
Well,
stuff
okay,
that
mostly
he did.
voiceover for Mando.
Yeah,
Okay, that
for
makes more
Pedro
sense
Pascal.
then. That makes more sense than The Last
Sorry.
of Us. That
Uh,
okay,
no, no,
yeah,
no.
no,
Mostly voiceover for Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian
yeah.
because
I
he has
mean,
the two stunt doubles that do most of the
I think
work.
with Boba Fett, it could work with mostly voiceover, but I think after he took off the helmet at the end of season 2, I think that kind of teased that he was going to be wearing it less. Now
I
that
don't know.
he's now that
I
he's
think it
taken it off and
depends.
exposed himself, you
I
know,
think it'll depend on what they're because I'm hoping that this season is going to really dive into Mandalore and that kind of stuff.
they have to.
Um,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't
So
think there's anywhere else to go because I mean Grogu's gone. So
yeah.
what else do you do with Mando's character? And he's got the dark
Right.
saber. Uh, so that's pretty crazy.
So
But
him wearing the helmet wouldn't be weird to me, especially because I'm guessing there is going to be a lot of fighting and everything with that. Plus, at this point, it kind of seems like the way to go. I mean, he's going to be filming Last of Us from July 5th this year, so like less than a month, and like through June
I don't
2022,
know though
it looks
because
like.
I think they're waiting because I mean they're going to be filming late 21, early 22, right? So I mean, why wait so long?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm a
You know?
little sad that we're gonna have to wait longer than expected for Mandalorian, but that being said, we got Book of Boba Fett, and wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily be shocked to see Ahsoka maybe even come out before Mandalorian
Wow,
because it
really?
could well, think about it. It could potentially set up some of the stuff on Mandalore because she was
Maybe.
involved in the Siege of Mandalore. She knows Bo-Katan, so there's options is kind of my point. I'm not saying I expect it to come out first, but they definitely have options if they have
Yeah.
to wait.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Well, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. But yeah, and then speaking of Obi-Wan, we're finally getting set photos.
Yeah, it was
Finally.
super revealing. He was wearing a black, like, weird poncho thing, so you couldn't see his costume. It was great.
Yeah, but they're filming it though. Like that's exciting. Like they've been talking about this for years, and they're
Hmm.
finally out there filming it.
And Ewan McGregor's so excited. He was talking about filming scenes with Jawas and stormtroopers, so it looks like we're gonna be getting those.
Yeah.
Uh, like I, it's so, and it seems like he loves shooting on the volume when they do that, which, considering he is shot mostly on blue screen, is not a shock to me.
That's true. Yeah, but
Uh,
I
I mean,
mean,
Obi-Wan's gonna be great.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Although we do know one character that's very important to Obi-Wan will not be appearing in the show, and that is Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. So that's pretty interesting. Who came out? Was it Liam Neeson himself that
It was
said
Liam
that?
Neeson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So again,
yeah,
it could be one of those Andrew Garfield things where it's just like, oh, I'm not in it, but I really don't. I believe that Liam Neeson's not in Obi-Wan. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think Liam Neeson wants to come back to Star Wars.
I wouldn't
Uh,
even say that. He has said that he would if he was asked.
really?
I
Okay.
just think that they don't necessarily like he's busy and he's
Well, and
probably really
also
expensive.
he never became a Force ghost. I mean, he experimented with
Yeah, he
it.
did.
He did like full on
In
like
Clone Wars. We didn't see a physical body, but he
yeah,
is
yeah.
able to
Well, yeah.
communicate.
So that's what I meant. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
he wasn't able to fully master the Force Ghost. Like I knew he was able to talk to people and stuff. But so maybe we could get like a voiceover thing, and he's just not physically in Obi-Wan. I think that would make sense because technically wasn't he in Rise of Skywalker at the end? Uh, you
Was it
know,
him or was it a different actor that voiced
I
Qui-Gon
think it
in
was
Clone
him,
Wars?
but it also could have just been a voice clip from Phantom Menace for all we know.
Oh, I don't mean
So,
Rise of Skywalker. I mean Clone Wars.
oh, Clone Wars. I think it was him.
Okay.
Actually, I will look that up real quick because now I'm really curious. But
Because if he voiced something in Clone Wars, I wouldn't at all be surprised for him to voice something in Obi-Wan. And like we said, like even though he said he's not in it, we always take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, especially with Disney-owned projects. And maybe he meant he wasn't physically in it. We don't
yeah,
really know.
and he had a small voice clip in Revenge of the Sith, right? Or no, it was Attack of the Clones, according to Wikipedia. Let me see. Let me see if I can find the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Um, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
He was in the Clone Wars for 3 episodes. Liam
right.
Neeson.
Yep. I thought it was him. I don't know how you would fake that. He's got a very distinct
Yeah.
voice.
There we go.
uh, but yeah, so Obi-Wan filming, awesome. Qui-Gon not in it, sad.
Yeah, that is pretty sad. That would be pretty cool. I mean, I didn't want him to show up in person because that wouldn't really make sense within the universe unless they did
Yeah,
some weird flashback stuff, like and de-aged him or something.
right.
Um, but otherwise, it just wouldn't really make sense for Qui-Gon to show up. So I'm kind of okay with it.
No, the only way I would want Obi-Wan to hear him is when if we see Obi-Wan trying to like learning to become a
Yeah,
Force ghost. That's the only way I would want that. But really, we could have him communicating with Yoda for that. So
yeah.
I don't think it would be
Yoda Disney
a.
Plus show? When?
Can you
Can we get
imagine?
Yoda's Adventures on Dagobah? Like,
Just him falling in the swamp, being pissed off. This place sucks.
why did I choose this place?
No,
Oh
I mean if you
man.
want like Yoda's adventures pre everything, he's in the High Republic stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, we could see him in the Acolyte.
yeah, that could be crazy.
Yeah,
The start of him going, "There's something weird, but I don't know what it is."
there's something weird. Oh well, it's probably nothing. Like,
That was so annoying. I'm not gonna get into it because it was just so dumb. But our last little Star Wars show that we've got news on is Andor, Bryce's favorite show, as we
yeah,
all know.
it's probably my most anticipated project of anything ever released in the history of time. So I'm
To be
really looking
fair,
forward to it.
this probably does notch it up a little bit. We're getting Forrest Whitaker back as
Yeah,
Saw Gerrera.
yeah, he was really good in Rogue One, and he actually voiced Saw Gerrera in Clone Wars, right?
I would, if anything, I would guess Rebels.
Okay. Oh no, yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay,
But yeah, sorry. Sometimes I melt the two shows together, but
they're all
uh,
really connected. It's not.
yeah. But anywho, yeah. I mean, it's cool. I like Forrest Whitaker. He's a pretty cool dude. So
Yeah, I mean, if anything was gonna get you hyped about this, it's probably that because he's kind of the big, like the most prominent returning character, I would say, that was the biggest
yeah,
name.
yeah.
You know,
Do we know if somebody like Bail Organa is gonna be in it?
I don't. I'm not sure.
That
We
would make
reported.
sense.
Yeah, we reported that Obi-Wan will be showing up. So if
Yeah,
Bail
that's
Organa is
weird.
the connective tissue, that would make sense to me because Bail
So
Organa.
yeah, I feel like we gotta have Bail Organa in this show. And I'm surprised that we haven't heard he's in it yet.
We might
So
have. We just might not be remembering.
maybe.
And we know Mon Mothma's in it. So
Yeah, that was
Bail
my next
Organa
question.
makes
So
yeah, Bail Organa makes sense to me. And we're also going to get Ben Mendelsohn returning as Orson Krennic, who was the bad guy that was like building the Death Star. So
okay.
should be interesting to see maybe Andor is like infiltrating that
Yeah,
because they did learn about all this stuff. So
they have to
could
learn it
be
from somewhere. So
right. So this could be very cool setup for kind of Rogue One. I think that the biggest draw for Andor really is going to be actually seeing the setup for Rogue One.
yeah, I think it's still a story that I didn't really need and or want, but I'm going to watch it anyway because
Well,
it's
you're
Star
kind of
Wars.
required to.
Well, yeah, for the show and everything, but it's still like one of those deals. Like, okay, they're making Andor. Yeah, it's Star Wars. I'll watch it, but it's just not really something I'm still excited for. And I
I
don't
think
really know if anything will. Maybe if the trailer is they got to come up with an amazing trailer for me to be excited for this show. And like maybe if like in the trailer we get like Obi-Wan doing like backflips and like lightsaber maneuvers, like because apparently he's in it. So which makes I don't
I
know how
think it
that's
makes
gonna work.
sense. I
You
think it makes
do?
sense because it is the rebellion. Like Obi-Wan
Yeah,
being connected to the rebellion is not weird to me.
yeah. I don't know. It's just Andor of all things. It's just so weird for me.
Here's
For
the
me,
thing.
you know.
I
But
really like the concept of Andor, similar to how I like the concept of She-Hulk. It's Star Wars doing a spy show. We
yeah,
haven't like we've seen that a little bit with Rebels, but even that was not a full-on espionage
and I
show. They
did
were
like
doing
what they did with
missions,
that.
but
Sorry to interrupt. I did like what they did with that in Rogue One.
yeah.
So
So getting to see a full-on Star Wars espionage show and getting to see kind of the bad things that these guys did for the rebellion, because the rebellion is always the good guys. The rebellion is always the good guys. And we saw in Rogue One, yeah, they're the good guys, but they did bad stuff to be
yeah,
able to win. So really diving into that, if we actually go full force into it, could be really cool. I mean, realistically, this could be sort of like obviously not the same scale, but story-wise comparison, kind of more like Winter Soldier is to the MCU
yeah,
because we are getting that spy story instead of like the big Star Wars stuff or political stuff or any of that stuff. So I think it has the potential to be really, really interesting, especially if we're going to see some of these different factions like Saw Gerrera's way more kind of out there crazy version of the rebels
yeah.
versus like Mon Mothma in them. So I just think that it hasn't really been marketed yet. And because it's this character Andor who we saw once and then he died,
Yeah,
it is hard to be like, okay, this is what I'm really excited about. Like Obi-Wan, that's not hard to get excited about. Ahsoka, not hard to get excited about. Boba
yeah.
Fett, not hard to get excited about. Andor, from name alone, you're like, okay. But then if you really think like what they could dive into, I think this has the potential to be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing you're forgetting though is that K2SO isn't in it, so who cares? Uh,
I'm so curious. Maybe he had a droid before that.
you, you make you make all of these like really good points about the show, and I just come like, yeah, but K2SO isn't in, so it's gonna suck. No,
He'll
I
probably
you
have a different droid
you make some
that
pretty
we're
good
all
points.
gonna. He's probably gonna have a different droid that we'll all fall in love with, and then it'll die, and that's how he gets K2SO. We're gonna be like, really? I'm
Yeah, he just has
excited, but
really bad
also
droid
really,
luck.
right? We see him with a different droid every episode that we all love, and it gets killed, and we're just like, come on!
Okay, well,
I
oops.
think
Oh
that's
well.
saddest running gag in Star
It's
Wars.
Andor, so oh well. Uh, I mean, look. I mean, I'm sure once there's a trailer and it's getting closer, I'm sure I'll be more excited for it. But right now, it's just
Yeah, no,
okay.
I
They're
totally get
making it.
that.
You know.
I mean, there's also the chance you got to think about setting wise. It could include like Hera because we did have in Rogue One. You heard them call like essentially page General Syndulla,
Yeah.
sand spotted Chopper. So we could potentially see Hera and Chopper, maybe even Rex when they're like doing rebellion stuff. And there's a lot of ways this can be very very interesting and very very cool.
I am really
And
looking
I'm
forward.
hoping they're keeping it under
Yeah,
wraps.
I'm really looking forward to Tamora Morrison finally playing Rex because it's gonna happen
Me
at some point.
and Cody.
Yeah, well, yeah, he already played Cody for like
Yeah, but
two
I want to see
seconds,
like
but
old
yeah,
school Cody.
yeah. I want to see him actually play Cody and actually
Yeah,
play Rex. I mean, like that'd be really cool because I mean, whenever he played Cody in Revenge of the Sith, he was just there to try to kill Obi Wan.
yeah.
He
We
didn't
saw
really
like
have a lot to do besides that.
yeah, we saw like 2 seconds of them being like comrades,
Yeah,
and then he tried to murder him. You're like,
yeah.
oh, bummer.
Oops.
You didn't have the emotional weight behind it,
Yeah,
but that sucks.
but I'm sure like Rex would be cool to see in Andor. But I'm sure probably his debut will be Ahsoka.
Oh yeah.
Which like, dude, are we just gonna get Tamora Morrison in like every one of these shows?
I mean, like Clone Wars basically made that a requirement, right? Because we all love the clones.
Oh man, I mean, I'm for it, but it's just like, man, that dude's gonna be busy.
Right? He's like, I'm back in the Star Wars universe. I am the Star Wars
Yeah,
universe.
really. He did one movie. Or no, he did two movies in the prequels. Like, but I mean, really, in the third one, he didn't really have a lot to do. But so, I mean, he played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, and then now he's back in Mandalorian. And honestly, I do think that he's going to be in most of these Disney Plus shows. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
Acolyte, he can't be in that one. Well, he could be as Jango Fett.
He
Uh,
could be his Jango Fett's like dad.
yeah. Well, I it wasn't the Acolyte only like 10 years or something before Phantom Menace.
I don't remember. I know it's the end. Probably. So yeah, he
Yeah,
could be Jango Fett because I
but
know it's like before the Star Wars saga and at the end of the High Republic, which the High Republic is like what 600 years or something.
yeah, yeah, something like that. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We're getting into really weird territory where you have to like know everything about Star Wars, but um, it's like I don't know. Like I've kind of comically imagined like what would Bad Batch be like if it were in live action and Tamora Morrison was playing everybody.
I'm
Like I
curious if
kind of
they
want to
actually
see
would
that.
have him play everybody because they all look so different, the Bad Batch clones.
Yeah, I think he would. I want to believe that he would.
Just him with like
I
terrible
want to
wigs.
see at some point. It doesn't have to be a series. It doesn't have to be anything major. But at some point, I want to see the entire Bad Batch crew together in the same room, all played by Tamora Morrison.
Assuming they don't all die, because we have, I don't remember who, but like one or two people in the chat during our Star Wars watch along that's very sure they're all gonna die.
Yeah. Well. So what? Do it before they die. You know. I mean, well, everybody in Rogue One died. We're getting Andor, right? So, I mean, so what? I
Oh,
honestly, they're probably gonna die at some point. Because we haven't seen them at any point past where they are now. So, I mean, are they gonna die at some point? Sure.
I don't
That
necessarily think that means anything in the Star Wars universe, though,
yeah,
because the Star Wars universe is not like the MCU. It was not built chronologically.
right. So, I mean, and that's true, and they're definitely rogues on the run. That would definitely be the question, like what happened to Omega, because they're definitely building her up to be a pretty major character. So, um, which that's a whole
She's
nother.
been in everything, just she's like a background character. She's
She's like the
always been
secret.
there.
She's the reincarnation of Plagueis. She
I would love if she was always there. She's like the pilot that survives all the rebellion fights.
yeah. Like she's been there throughout all of Star Wars. It's just
Right.
she had to be reincarnated because she's actually Darth Plagueis. So uh, I think Darth Plagueis should be the new Mephisto theory in the Star Wars universe. Like he was kind of whenever the sequels were coming out, but then people eventually gave up because they just sucked and nothing made sense in the sequels. But um,
Have you seen what they actually like originally wanted to do with the sequels? I'm so mad because it looked cool. They were
anything
gonna
would
have
have
it
been better than
focus
what
on
they.
like the original three and be really interesting. It was such a
Yeah,
bummer that
I'm
they
sure
didn't
they
do it.
were, but then they didn't. So who cares? I mean, like, it's just like, I mean, yeah, it would have been cool. They didn't do it though, so it's just like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's just so
I will forever be sad we didn't get the Princess Leia like focused movie.
like I have the Duel of the Fates script somewhere,
Yeah.
the Colin Trevorrow script, and you know I wanted to read it at some point, but now it's just like, why
It
should I
makes you
do that to
sad.
myself? It's just gonna piss me off that we didn't get this instead. So why should I torture myself by reading this? Because it's gonna be so much better than Rise of Skywalker.
It's just
So
gonna make you sad.
yeah.
Why?
So I mean, I don't know. It's cool that I have it, but it's just like, you know, I probably never gonna read it because it's just like I
Oh,
don't, it's literally it will literally be torture because it's like this
yeah.
is so cool. Why didn't they do it? So
No, I get that.
yeah,
So I think that is our Star Wars news for the week. Like we said, a lot of Star Wars news. Hopefully this like the trend stays and we keep getting a lot of Star Wars news. Uh, please join us Thursdays for our Star Wars Bad Batch watch along at 11:40 p.m. Pacific. nailed it. Where it is me, Josh, JD, and probably Rob. We'll be watching episode 8 this week. Like we said, hopefully we get to see some Crosshair stuff going on.
Yep.
We have been.
We know now we won't see Rex because apparently that was
He
last
disappeared
episode.
into the fog. I just love he walks into the fog and like vanishes. You're like, okay. Did you learn
dramatic, but whatever.
Right? Like, did you learn the dramatics from the Jedi? Like,
and like, why was he so? No, I guess it makes sense why he was hiding himself because he's a clone. And,
yeah,
but it's just like he like was dressed as a Jedi. Like I thought he was Ahsoka there for a while, and then I think somebody brought up to me. It's like no, they said he, so it can't be Ahsoka. And so
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well.
Then we have some DC news.
Yeah, what? DC
always
news?
exciting.
Yeah, DC have been kind of quiet here lately.
Yeah, I mean they got a lot of competition going on with Marvel.
and
like
and even Star Wars too.
Yeah, DC's just trying to get their movies out there and like stay steady on TV, and Marvel's just like, bam.
You know, DC's trying their best.
Are they?
And it's coming. That sarcastic comic is coming from a DC fan, so it's okay. But yeah, yeah.
I love what DC could be.
Yeah, I love the DC characters. So I don't know. Let's just get into it.
Let's just get into it.
Let's just get it over. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid because it's like like this stuff sounds cool, but will it be?
The news is all very, very cool. I don't think we actually have bad news, so that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of like DC. It's either going to be good or it's not. So they've got like a 50-50 track record. So I don't know. All right, let's get into it. So Aquaman 2. It's got a title, Aquaman of the Lost Kingdom. That's cool. You did a feature on the
the working title.
The working title, right? Yeah. So you want to kind of go into that a little bit?
The working title for Aquaman was Necros, which is a city that was featured in one comic. One.
One singular comic.
Right? So, like, what's interesting about Necros is it is a city that disappears and reappears in kind of this dimensional rift because of, like, weird space technology. My guess is if they're using it in this, it's going to be more of the mythical magic stuff that they've been leaning into. But it is a city that is technically, I think, is called the Lost City, or Lost Kingdom. So it is a possibility it could be that. But there's also an Aquaman comic called Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, I think, and it's where Mera gets like cursed and has to live on land. I don't know the details, but so there's a lot of options that they could be going with this. Personally, I hope they kind of do go with Necros because that's a weird storyline that's really interesting because it's this crazy kingdom. It has like kind of mad king that wants to attack the surface. So sort of similar to what Aquaman had to deal with Ocean Master. If that happens, you have the possibility of Ocean Master maybe manipulating and teaming up with this guy to help try and overtake Atlantis. So I think the Necros storyline would be really cool. But if they're going with the comic thing, having Mera get cursed could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Mera's gonna get cursed by Twitter before she gets cursed by the Atlanteans. So
that's already happened.
I mean, it'd be cool. They're doing war with the Atlanteans in Black Panther, right? So maybe there's gonna be a crossover there. But
I would love to see Atlantis versus Atlantis. That would be great.
You know what? Yeah. Whenever both companies run out of ideas and finally decide to team up with one another and do amalgam stuff, I think that's the first thing they need to do is Atlantis versus Atlantis.
Neymar would hate Aquaman because Aquaman considers himself surface and underwater. And I would love to see Aquaman start winning the fight and then Neymar be like, "Boom, I can fly, beat that." Bam. Oh man, but no, I'm excited for Aquaman too. I like the first
Yeah.
Aquaman. Don't get me wrong, it has its problems, but it's also a movie that has an octopus playing the drums in a ring of fire. What? What is
There you go.
this?
There.
Amazing. It's like
Best movie
visually
ever.
beautiful. It's a
Yeah.
comic book movie through and through.
Yeah.
I mean, DC does its best when it goes, you know what? Let's lean into it. We're crazy comic book stuff because
They
DC
really
hates
just need
comic book
to,
stuff.
honestly, this could be a controversial opinion, but what they need to do is ditch the cinematic universe and just go completely solo. I
Yeah,
mean,
at least to start.
they've proven that like post Justice League, they can make some really good fun flicks, and
Yeah,
so I think and they're purely standalone. I mean, there's really been virtually no crossover between the post Justice League movies, and so I think it works for them. I don't really think. I mean, if they want to do a Justice League movie, maybe just have it be just I don't know. I don't know
I
what
mean,
they would do for a Justice League, but
the problem is they tried to fast forward. Like Marvel took
yeah,
10 years to be where they are now.
don't
You
get me
know?
wrong. I did love Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, obviously, now that's been a little longer since the movie's come out, and I've had a little bit more to reflect on it. It's definitely not as perfect as it was whenever I first watched it. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but I think it definitely was a significant improvement over the theatrical version, and it had a direction, it had a vision,
Yeah,
and
story.
so and that's what I really liked about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think the one thing I would definitely cut out from that movie was ironically the Aquaman scene.
You
Not
mean where
necessarily
the
the whole
lady
scene, but
sings for
the
like 10
singing.
minutes?
Yeah, that definitely should have stayed in. Uh, but I think he had a vision and a plan, and I liked to see that. Because that's where these franchises fail, because Marvel, they had a plan. Star Wars didn't have a plan, fell flat on their face.
Now they
Well,
do.
yeah. Now they do, but they
I mean,
still
the TV side is killing it.
kind of ruined the Skywalker saga. So, oops. But DC didn't have a plan, fell flat on their face. Now they've kind of been doing solo stuff, and it's been working for them. That's cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, in Shazam, like Superman and Batman exist, and
yeah,
I think that's fine. I don't think you need to show them to make it work. I think honestly, if they had decided to build it with these smaller characters, because the other thing you have to remember, Iron Man and the Avengers were not a big popular Marvel thing before the MCU. The big ones were like Spider-Man and X-Men and Fantastic Four. But like,
which none of which they had the rights to at the time. So,
right, so they took these smaller characters and went, "Okay, let's go." I think if DC focused on that, like Aquaman is not a character people cared about until these
Aquaman,
movies.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And same with
like,
Shazam,
right? So focus
especially
with that.
Shazam.
Focus on Shazam. Focus on this new Batman. That's going to be very cool. Uh
I think the
Lean into Harley
only,
Quinn. There's
yeah,
a
I think
lot
the
of stuff. Black
only,
Adam. Like lean into these guys
yeah,
and then build to Batman and Superman and Wonder
I think
Woman.
the
All that.
only generally popular character that has worked definitively has been Harley Quinn. Because
Yes.
I almost said Wonder Woman, but then even with Wonder Woman, now we've got Wonder Woman 1984, and that was probably the most okay movie I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
I liked it.
it was
I
fun,
also liked what they
but
were trying to do with it. I had also
yeah,
just watched the Christopher Reeves Superman movies, like right before that came out, and it's in a very similar vein. It's not really the vein of superhero movies you're used to now.
yeah,
Um, and I think that they had a lot of very, very cool ideas with it that they just didn't quite follow through on.
yeah. The Wish Stone thing was really weird too. I mean, that was a whole. I don't
It
really.
wasn't explained great, kind of like Marvel's time travel.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I think the Wonder Woman Wish Stone is kind of the Marvel time travel equivalent. That was a really good analogy, explanation, or whatever
Yeah,
connection.
yeah,
You know,
it's
uh,
all connected.
that's the name of the show. But
Yep.
so Yeah. DC, okay.
I mean, they
Aquaman
have a
2.
lot of stuff lined up that looks really cool. Like Aquaman 2, I think could be like the first one's
Yeah.
fun. Like any problems you have with it, you kind of just have to admit it's a really pretty and really fun movie. Like Birds of
Like
Prey, same
Avatar.
thing.
Like
No.
what?
Birds of Prey,
Avatar's
really
pretty.
fun. It's not fun.
Well, okay, yeah. I forgot about the fun part.
um,
You're right. Sorry.
yeah,
I,
Birds of Prey, very colorful comic book movie
yeah.
and really, really fun.
Yeah.
Like when they lean into that, it works, So I think Aquaman 2 has a lot of potential. I think similar to what we were saying with Black Widow, people are sort of sleeping on Aquaman 2
Yeah.
because they're more excited for like the Batman, Black Adam, Shazam 2.
I think also probably the Amber Heard controversy has had a lot to do
Yeah,
with that because there's definitely a lot of fans who are boycotting the movie who are gonna
I'm
end up
really curious what's going to happen with that because Aquaman is like
nothing's
the
gonna
highest
happen.
grossing DC movie.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen. They're gonna still watch the movie. Like they're it's all bluff. They're going to see the movie. They're like I mean
I mean, we're
there's
at the
I'm
point,
sure there's gonna be a few who
yeah,
won't see the movie because of
but
Amber
not
Heard.
enough to make a dent.
No, no, it's not gonna matter at all. It's pointless. So I mean yeah, I'm
Well,
you know what? No,
speaking of
we're not going
something,
into Amber Heard stuff. We've got other stuff
speaking
to
of
talk
something
about.
that's hopefully not pointless, we got an update on Nightwing.
Yeah. So, apparently, that movie is maybe still a thing. I don't. It didn't really seem like it really was. I think just to hear that it's still being talked about was kind of the news of it because I think
It
who was
exists.
yeah.
It
I
exists
mean,
as a concept.
the director was saying that like it was more of like a I hope we can still do it. It wasn't really a we're definitely still doing it and it's coming out. But it's still something that's in the back of his mind. That's something he's still thinking about. So I mean, Nightwing is my favorite superhero. Done horribly in Titans, and so I want to see a really good version of Nightwing in live action.
I
Uh,
mean, I think I said the other week that at this point, because Batman has been done so much, they should just build on Nightwing.
yeah. Well, honestly, I they should have done this in the comics like 10, 20 years ago. But Dick Grayson needs to just become Batman. Like
I don't know. I like him being Nightwing because
I
it
like him
has
being
that.
Nightwing too, but I think it's a natural progression that just has been put on hold for so long.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's
No.
become Batman at some point, but it's like it's always just temporary. Like, I want to see
Yeah.
a Dick Grayson Batman. Like, not necessarily right now. Like, I want to see a Nightwing movie first and have it build up to that. But I think it'd be really cool, like if we had like a Nightwing trilogy and then it all led up to him eventually becoming Batman.
I will say, one of the things I like about there's a couple things I like about like the Nightwing, just the name even instead of Batman. It's got the connection to Krypton, which is
Yeah.
really interesting because it's that proof of he doesn't just want to be Batman. He wants to also learn from someone like Superman.
Yeah.
I also like that maybe he won't become Batman because he doesn't want to become what
Right.
Wayne is.
And
So
that is how they've been handling a lot of incarnations of Dick Grayson
yeah,
here lately, and so it's probably the route that they'll go. But honestly, I'd like to see a more lighthearted, fun version of Dick Grayson because right now it's just been dark and brooding, and that's not the Dick Grayson I love.
not the point.
Like the Dick Grayson I love is I don't know if you've ever seen the fan series that they did with Ismahawk, but they did a really good representation of Dick Grayson, I think, where it's kind of like Peter Parker meets Batman, where
Okay.
he's still like a detective, and he can be serious at times, but he also has a really fun, lighthearted side to him, and that's kind of the Dick Grayson that I enjoy. That's why I enjoy Nightwing. He's the fun Batman, uh,
Yeah.
and we haven't really got that. Especially not in Titans. I don't think we will ever get it in Titans, and if we do, it will be a completely unnatural change in tone for the show, but
Yeah.
maybe it'd be for the better. I don't know, but um,
The
that's kind
Dick
of a
Grayson
Nightwing I want
I've
to see.
seen is like the DC animated stuff.
Yeah,
from
Like
like
the
the
Young
90s and
Justice,
early
or
2000s.
okay, yeah. So, I don't know. That's
I
just kind
think
of
it
what
I
I
think a
like in
Nightwing
Dick
movie is
Grayson.
great
But
though. I
yeah,
think it's awesome that at least the director's still interested in it. Like that's always a good sign because at
yeah.
least it's still in their head. It's not something where it's like, what do you think about the Nightwing movie? The what? You know? Like
I think I
so
don't know. Like this is gonna kind of go back completely on what I said before, but I like the fact that Nightwing isn't Batman. And let me finish my statement.
yeah.
Uh, because I just said I wanted Nightwing to become Batman earlier, but like I don't want Nightwing to become Bruce Wayne. That's different. I want him to take up the mantle, but not necessarily be Bruce. Like yeah,
You want Dick Grayson
I want
Batman,
Dick
not
Grayson,
Bruce
and
Wayne
right now in
Nightwing.
Titans and a lot of the other stuff here recently, we've gotten young Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
despite the fact that Dick Grayson in these incarnations makes it explicitly clear that he does not want to be Bruce Wayne. However, he just is anyway. And
Yeah.
so
I mean, you know what's weird about Titans? Bruce Wayne is more fun than Dick Grayson.
yeah, he did the Adam West thing, you know, and
Yeah.
so
He's funnier than Dick Grayson, which that shouldn't be the case.
yeah, Dick Grayson's
No,
supposed to be the funny one. So
yeah. But
yeah,
no, hopefully we get a Nightwing movie. Hopefully it's like a legit Nightwing movie if it happens. But it's still out there in the ether, basically.
yeah. So
Will that become something?
hopefully one day.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And then in Shazam 2 news, we got a set video that a fan like recorded and leaked of Rachel Ziegler's character. Not a lot is known about the character, but she's wearing like this crazy looking gold armor with like this gold
Yeah.
cape. So I'm guessing she's probably one of the three sisters that we reported on
Yeah.
last October. We know we're gonna get Lucy Liu in one of the roles. We're gonna get Helen Mirren in one of the roles. Helen Mirren is like, she just does what she wants. It's great. Like she's in the Fast and the Furious franchise, and now
Yeah.
she's in DC. She's like, I'm gonna do what I want. You're like, of course you are. You're Helen Mirren.
Yeah. There you
um,
go.
it looks like Rachel Ziegler might be playing the other sister, so that
Yeah.
is really really cool and really interesting. I mean, like we said last week, we got new Shazam armor, so it looks like they're stepping up their game. I'm really excited about it.
There you
Like
go.
the
I
first
mean,
Shazam's ridiculous,
yeah,
but this
I
one
love the first
is
Shazam.
even higher.
People, I know a lot of people hate it because it's comedy, and I guess comedy isn't allowed in comic book movies anymore. But
Not DC.
it works. It's a fun movie. You know, it works for Shazam. The Shazam isn't supposed to be dark and brooding. He's a 14-year
It's like,
old.
yeah,
So not sure what you were expecting there, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to Shazam 2. I think it's going to be just as fun as the first. Um, I
I mean, it's Zach Levi,
I'm
of course it
really
is.
confused though because they Black Adam was originally sort of
No, I don't think that was ever 100% confirmed. I think that was fans
like what? What did you think I was getting ready to say? Because I didn't.
that he was going to be in the end.
No, I that's not what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Like you know, like these characters are very connected, obviously, and you know, I originally was presented, at least from what I understood back, what 5 years ago or whatever, that this was supposed to be like a spinoff, like and these two characters. Were supposed to like intertwine, but it really seems like they're their own standalone, different, completely separate things.
Well, think about it kind of like honestly what they did with the MCU. Like they started with Iron Man and he was separate,
Yeah,
you know? So
they're
I think
making a
it'll build
Shazam MCU.
sort of. I think it'll build into each other. I just think they want a Black
Yeah,
Adam movie first, which makes sense to me because usually Black Adam is like he's Shazam's enemy. So if
yeah,
you want people to have any sort of sympathy for Black Adam, you have to first find out who this guy is cuz Black
yeah.
Adam is
It's
he's an
just
anti-hero. He's
you
got a
know,
really dark crazy backstory.
yeah,
So getting into that first is important.
yeah. I just think Black Adam is coming out first, and so it just I don't know. It felt like the next logical step for me. It's like, oh, okay, so they're gonna fight in the second one, but maybe they're saving it for the third, or maybe they're saving it for something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
sure
mean,
it'll happen at some point because it's just
yeah,
like it's Shazam and Black Adam. Like it's like
they have
if they made if they made a Batman and a Joker movie set within the DCEU continuity and
Yeah.
didn't have them team up like or fight each other,
Yeah.
it's just like that's so weird. Like
Yeah.
so
No,
um
I totally get where you're coming from. I think it'll happen. I just think, like, for all we know, they want to do a Black Adam 2 first. Like, we don't really know what
yeah,
the long-term plan is.
or
So,
a Black Adam versus Superman if the Rock finally is able to convince them to do it, because I know he wants it and I know Henry Cavill
yeah.
wants it too, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shazam's going to be great. And I mean, because like we were talking about a little bit, the director of Shazam 2 has like just flat out said no, Black Adam isn't
Yeah.
in this. So there were expectations that he'd maybe have like a post-credit thing. I'm not necessarily shocked he doesn't. Like I said, I think there's a longer term plan. I think it's more than like a 3-movie arc because Black Adam versus Shazam within that own little pocket of the DC kind of seems like you got to build up from Iron Man to Avengers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's the Shazam Avengers? What would that be? Like I'm
The
trying to think.
Shazam fam.
Well, yeah, but they already did that in the first one. Like I honestly, that's one thing I'll say about the first Shazam is like they should have waited on the Shazam family. I think.
I don't know. I think we're going to see them actually having to consistently be superheroes in this one, and they're not going to be good at it.
Yeah,
They
I
kind
don't
of
know.
fell into it
Like,
last
but you
time in
just said.
Amber in Fury of the Gods, and these guys are the daughters, or the sisters are the daughters of I think Atlas, who's one of the gods, actually Titans, that Shazam's powers come from. So curious to see what happens with that. I'm assuming they're maybe pissed that they have like their dad's powers somehow. So I think that'll be really funny. And I just love Zach Levi. I've loved
Yeah.
him since Chuck. So I'm so happy that he gets to be a superhero because that's been like something he's wanted forever. And I think he does awesome as
Yep.
Shazam. So that is our little Shazam and Black Adam spiel. We got some Blue Beetle news.
Yeah, random. I guess they're making a Blue Beetle movie for HBO Max. That's cool. Do we know if
Cool.
it's Jaime Reyes?
I don't know.
I don't really want a Ted Kord movie. So I really hope it's Jaime Reyes.
Well, because there's been, 3 Blue Beetles?
I know of Ted Kord and Jaime Reyes. I don't know.
I think there was one before it was owned by DC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was ever owned by anybody else. So
I think it's like Fox or something.
yeah.
Okay. I don't think we know who it is. I mean, I'm not shocked we wouldn't know who it is since it's just like them saying we're
cool.
doing this.
I mean, I guess they were actually being serious when they said that they were making movies for HBO Max. So cool.
I mean, aren't we getting Batgirl?
Is that on HBO Max?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, oops. So okay, yeah, they're doing it. Cool.
There's
Hope
keeping up with DC.
I hope it's Jaime Reyes. Because yeah, Ted Kord is kind of
Watch
lame.
it.
So.
Watch it Ted Kord just because you said that.
Yep, it will be actually. So you heard it here first.
You heard it here first. They're specifically targeting Bryce with the wrong Blue Beetle.
Yeah. So no, but I love Jaime Reyes in Young Justice. Was it Invasion? So I mean that was basically like a Blue Beetle show, and they did a really good job with this character. So I hope they do something similar to that, and keep the Jaime Reyes version of the character because I think he's a lot more interesting than Ted Kord. So yeah.
I always in my head mix up Blue Beetle and that Amazon show The Tick because it was blue. So I'm always like, this was not a thing that happened yet. Amazon did a ripoff, right?
I love
They
the Tick.
it's a blue bug. It looks the same.
Yeah, no, I love the Tick. The Tick is great. And Amazon canceled that, and I think people generally enjoyed that show, but whatever. But yeah, and I loved the Tick animated series that they had on Jetix. Like I really loved watching that as a kid. So yeah, the Tick has a special place in my heart.
Well, hopefully the Blue Beetle can as well.
Yeah. There we go. Yep.
And we have some Batwoman news. So if you haven't watched, if you haven't watched Batwoman lately, Luke Fox is getting pretty interesting arc. They've been covering a lot of stuff with police brutality, which isn't shocking because it's Gotham and the cops suck. So not a shock there. But Luke Fox actually, spoiler alert, got shot by a crow, which are like the private police basically, and they tried to frame him for like robbery and carjacking to make it look like a clean shoot when really it wasn't. He was reaching for his phone to prove that he was recording someone trying to steal a car. So he got shot. He almost died, but they were able to save him. And it looks like, based on these posters, he's gonna come back and go full vigilante. So
Yeah.
he's gonna be a character called Batwing. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a totally new character.
I think you're wrong. I think this is actually a
Okay.
character in the comics.
Okay. I know
So
that
because
the
I
guy.
because whenever Batwing was first, Batwoman was first coming out, I was like, who the heck is Luke Fox? And
Oh, okay.
so
No, I know
I did some
Luke
research, and
Fox
I do
exists.
believe that Luke Fox becomes Batwing in the comics.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it does look like it's then the thing I'm remembering is I think the actor actually has like maybe done something with the comics.
I
don't
don't know.
know.
The suit looks awesome. It looks very
Yeah,
Nightwing-esque, but more Batman. With the
like a
cowl.
yeah, it's got like almost, it looks like a motorcycle helmet
Yeah, but
as his.
I dig it. It looks awesome. It's a really good suit. Like, and
Yeah,
you know, and this isn't one of the CW shows that are co-financed with HBO Max. So
now.
this is a really good
Yeah,
suit for CW
okay.
standards.
So it looks like, yeah, Luke Fox is always becomes Batwing, and it looks like his first appearance was in like 2011 in the
Okay, so
comics.
fairly new. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's newer. I mean, it looks great, and
Yeah.
like the Batwoman stuff has, I think, gotten not as great reception from some people. Personally, I like the costume, especially this season. I hated the red hair last season. It looked terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see what they do with this, because Luke is very much like the guy in the chair. He's the tech guy. So who's going to take over for that? Because it almost seems like at this point, like, Mary doesn't really know how to do the tech stuff, so is she
Yeah.
gonna learn? And then so the crows got dissolved in the last episode. They don't exist anymore. And Sophie is working with the Bat team, so maybe she'll take over?
Kate's coming back at some point, right? So
Yeah, so Kate is back, but she doesn't know she's Kate because she got brainwashed by a character called Enigma.
Oh.
And she thinks she's Black Mask's daughter.
So wait a minute. Enigma,
who's
like
dead.
the Riddler?
Not Riddler. Different character.
Is there are two characters named Enigma?
I don't know, dude. It's Batwoman.
Well, all right. Well,
I watched the show and I don't understand some of the stuff going on. Like, she's called Enigma, but she's not the Riddler. She's a different character. She's like a shrink that also hypnotizes people and can steal their memories and stuff. And then Alice sewed on like a face to Kate that it looks like Black Mask's daughter, and didn't realize it was Kate until after she put the face on, because of course.
Okay, yeah, so
weirdly,
cool Batwing.
Alice is not a total bad guy this season. She's legitimately trying to help Kate.
Alice as a character, though.
Alice is awesome.
Yeah, especially the actress who plays her.
Rachel Skarsten is amazing.
Yeah. So.
No, I think Batwing's gonna be cool. I'm really curious what they do with that, because I don't think Luke Fox is trained in fighting.
Yeah, I hope they do a better job than what they did with Jimmy Olsen and Guardian, because it seems like it's kind of a similar thing.
That hadn't even popped into my head. I hated that. That was so poorly done.
Doesn't his sister become Guardian too?
Probably at the end of the season. It's like the final season, and for the first half of it, literally Supergirl wasn't even on the same like planet as them. So who even knows what they're doing? Supergirl was great in season 1. They've had some really cool characters come in, like Nia Nal, who's Dreamer. She's a very, very cool character because she's like the first transgender superhero in live action. Happy Pride Month. And there's a lot of stuff that's been very cool, and then they've had weird stuff happen too. I mean, that's sort of the CW shows.
I mean, yeah, and didn't Melissa Benoist and the guy who plays Mon-El actually get married in real life? That's pretty cool.
They are married and they have a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably the best thing that came out of that show.
The actor is much cooler than his character when it comes to Mon-El. Chris Wood seems great. Mon-El did not.
Yeah, Mono was kind of weird. I wish they would have done more with it. I wish they would have gone full Superboy with him.
Yeah, and had him not be a jerk. That would have been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, one
Oh
of the
well.
things, and this
Oops.
is like, I'm gonna go on a mini tangent. One of the things I dislike about
Okay.
Supergirl is they treat Kara in a lot of the seasons like it's her fault she doesn't like a dude. Like they did
Hmm.
it with Win in the first season, they did it with Mon-El in the second
Okay.
season, and then it's like it feels like everyone pressures her into liking them, and then it becomes a thing. It's super weird,
Yeah.
and I find it really like it's a bad lesson for people.
Yeah.
That's not something young women should be learning.
Yeah.
So
I haven't really watched Supergirl since like season 2. So
yeah,
yeah. I don't really know. I haven't watched the show
well,
probably
it's just
since it was coming out, but
yeah.
I believe you.
Well,
So
because
yeah. No, that's pretty messed up.
in season one, Win kisses her, and everyone's like, "Well, you should have known he liked you and stuff." And I'm like, why is it her responsibility to deal with his feelings?
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be friends because he's hurt. Fine, but he takes it on her like it's her fault. No, it's your fault. You had
Yeah.
feelings for her, you went for it, and now you're throwing a fit that she didn't return them.
Yeah.
Like, and then in season two, kind of the same thing happens, and everyone's like, "Well, Mon-El likes you, and you like him," and it's like I don't think that's the lesson that people should be getting, especially
Yeah.
young women and for
Why?
that matter, young men
Why
out of
didn't?
this
Yeah.
show.
Why didn't they ever have her and Jimmy Olsen get to get like that? Seemed like in season 1 that was something they were clearly building up towards.
It's super weird and it's really kind of sketchy the way it went down. So
Oh,
I don't like it. I mean,
yikes.
basically they
Okay.
went from CBS where it was set up and then when they jumped over to the CW, they were like, "Here's Mon-El, your white love interest."
Okay. Well.
It was
Yeah.
weird. I didn't like it.
Okay.
It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah. Um.
And
I
I
guess I
mean,
never
think
really
about it
thought
too,
of it
because
that way. Yeah.
we said we didn't really like the Jimmy Olsen Guardian storyline, but to be fair, what other storyline did he have?
He could have had that. He could have gotten together with Kara, which
Yeah,
they were
but when
totally.
they didn't do that, he
Well,
didn't
they
do
did
much.
nothing with
Before
Mon-El
he became
either. Is the problem? Like it's just like they didn't even
yeah,
do anything with Mon-El. So
not until he went to the future and got married and accidentally came back in time. Very weird. Yeah,
okay, yeah,
Supergirl.
all right.
Okay.
So,
On to some other, I think our last piece of DC news, which is equally as weird.
oh yeah,
DC's League of Super Pets.
yeah,
We
starting
got
to
the
rock.
first Yeah, we got the first teaser and like a cast. So we're gonna have The Rock, obviously as Crypto. We're gonna have Kevin Hart again. Weirdly
Because it's
seems
a rock.
obvious
It's a
because it's
movie
The
with the
Rock.
rock in it. So yeah.
And Kevin Hart is gonna play Ace, and then the rest of the cast we don't know what characters are playing, but like we got Kate McKinnon, we got John Krasinski, we got
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Like, what is this movie?
Keanu Reeves in a comic book movie. Yay!
Right?
This is it. This is what it took.
He's like,
Super Pets.
I will only do Super Pets. That's it. It's in my contract.
Oh boy. Yeah.
I
Wow.
like 'cause I remember there was a show on like a long time ago where it was like Crypto the Super
Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah. I remember watching that on like CW for Kids or whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever
So
it was. I
yeah.
remember the show. I think I liked it. I don't remember
Yeah.
much. I remember there was like Crypto the
Yeah.
Super Dog. There was a Batman dog that was probably a Doberman or something. Um, but like Crypto's gonna be so weird with the Rock's voice coming out of him.
Yeah, but it's gonna be perfect though, so it's okay.
But you know what I mean? Like Crypto in my head is not like
No, I
I'm
mean,
Crypto.
listen. I
Like
mean,
what?
look, you're doing a movie called DC's League of Super Pets. I feel like the only option for Crypto is The Rock.
It's The Rock or Henry Cavill. That would have been
Henry
perfect in my
Cavill, yes.
opinion.
Oh my gosh, they can't get him in a damn Superman movie, but they put him in freaking Crypto the
He's
Super
Crypto.
Dog.
And can you imagine if like they had a movie where he met Crypto and it was him? And it's just Henry Cavill talking to Henry Cavill? That would be
Oh
amazing.
my gosh.
That's the movie I want. Give me that Superman movie. It's just him having some kind of existential crisis because he
Now,
can understand Crypto talking and it sounds like him.
do we get Crypto the Super Dog in Black Hat?
Black Adam punches him and everyone's horrified. How could you?
This poor little
That-
dog.
That's the Black Adam Superman fight. It's Crypto.
Played by Henry Cavill. So live action Crypto is Henry
Live
Cavill,
action would
and
be Henry Cavill.
animated Crypto is The Rock.
So if they have some kind of Black Adam pet,
Yep,
it has to be
exactly.
Henry Cavill.
It would be
Yeah.
Henry Cavill. Yep. Although that would be kind of whitewashing, though, wouldn't it be?
The
So that wouldn't
heck
work.
do you think Keanu Reeves and John Krasinski are playing? Like,
Mr. Fantastic and and Adam Warlock.
I just
So
like. So is one of them gonna be like the Batman dog? Because I like,
okay,
what
so
is
Keanu Reeves is
happening?
the Batman dog,
I don't know
and
what to do with this movie.
and
It's
John
I'm gonna see it,
Krasinski,
but
he
I don't
could
know what to do with this
be a
movie.
Flash dog. He could be a Green Lantern dog. Um, Kate McKinnon. Um, maybe a Harley Quinn dog.
For Wonder Woman.
I'd like to see Kate McKinnon be a Harley Quinn dog.
I feel like she would be a Chihuahua. Like a Harley Quinn dog feels like a Chihuahua.
Oh yes, Kate McKinnon is playing the Harley Quinn Chihuahua. You heard it here first. This is the Illuminerdi exclusive.
I feel like we should be writing this movie. We obviously know
Yes.
exactly what it should
So
be.
Caitlin and I are actually the writers on DC's League of Superpets.
As you can tell,
this is our
because we're
official
so well
announcement.
informed.
So,
I have no idea what to do about this movie. I mean, I'm gonna watch it,
it's
but I
gonna
have
be the
no
best.
idea what to do with this.
It's probably gonna be the best DC movie of the decade. I would say. Kind of
You
like how the
joke,
Lego
but
Batman movie was
maybe.
the best DC movie of last decade.
Oh my god, I just love so much DC's League of Super Pets. I mean, none of us expected this to be a thing. And then we saw the cast and went, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. So I think probably DC League of Superpets. What? Okay, so I think it probably has the potential, but realistically, to be the best movie ever.
It was the best
And
DC
so
kids movie for a really long time.
yeah, I mean, we had the Lego Batman movie, and then, but otherwise than that, I mean, that was pretty much it. Besides like directed DVD or like
Yeah.
maybe Batman Mask of the Phantasm, but that's not a kids movie. But I
No,
mean, it's kind of based off of a kids show, so but even
yeah,
then, it's not really even a kids show either.
not
So
anymore. Like
yeah,
it's got way too like watching because I watched the Batman animated series late last year.
yeah,
That's a solid show.
yeah.
Like the fact that that's a kid show, that's a solid show. So
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore. So
no, they don't. I mean,
none
I'm
of us is on
excited.
streaming.
I'm
But
excited for like the upcoming animated Batman and Superman show. I think the part of the reason I'm so excited about the
yeah,
upcoming Batman show is that Bruce Timm is involved and
hmm
he was like the one who
and
did the DC animated universe.
JJ Abrams and Matt Reeves. Like Matt Reeves
Yeah.
is like okay, he's directing the Batman, but it's still crazy. And then
Yeah.
you throw in JJ Abrams. It's like what is going on here? Like, you know,
Hopefully he has a plan this time.
okay.
I learned that.
uh,
You didn't before? All right. You did Lost, but whatever.
okay, again, to his defense, he wasn't supposed to direct Rise of Skywalker. So,
I
what plan
don't.
was he supposed to have? That was supposed to be a Lucasfilm
Did
thing.
he not have a plan about the trajectory of like the first film though? Because if he could have had some
I
sort
think
of plan
he
with that.
did, but but he wasn't the one in charge of all three movies. So once Ryan Johnson came in and changed things up, where do
I
you
like
go?
what Ryan Johnson set up. I think that could have been interesting.
It
Because if
could have
you
been
watch,
interesting if they built upon it in Rise of
yeah,
Skywalker,
because
but they
I think
didn't.
one of the things I appreciated about it is I liked that Rey wasn't special.
Yeah,
Because that was something big in Clone Wars. You didn't have to be a Skywalker or a Palpatine to have Force powers.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's the Skywalker saga. They made that feel like you had to
hmm
be like part of these two
I think
bloodlines, or else.
you know the Last Jedi doesn't really hold up on its own, but I think if they did Rise of Skywalker right, which they did not, it could have made the Rise of Skywalker, I mean, the Last Jedi, a much better movie. But instead,
Yeah,
they tried to go oopsies and
they like
erase
retconned
it.
it. It was weird.
Yeah, it's stupid. The Rise of
Don't get me
Skywalker
wrong.
is a horrible movie. It will forever be the worst Star Wars movie that they've ever made. There will be nothing that could top it as the stupid. Anywho, DC, right?
And I will say, I did defend Last Jedi. There's definitely issues with it.
Oh
I'm not
no,
saying
there's
there's
issues with
not.
Last Jedi. It's just there's more on Rise.
Yeah,
So
basically, yeah. No, but
yeah,
I think DC has a winner here with DC's League of Super Pets. If the cast is
I think
anything to go by.
I think DC League of Super Pets, realistically here, of course, I think DC League of Super Pets could probably be the Empire Strikes Back of the DC universe.
I think
Uh,
DC League of Super Pets will blow the Justice League out of the water. This is
yeah,
the DC's real Justice League.
yeah. I mean, probably. So
I just when I saw the cast, I
they
was
can't
like,
get
what
Justice League
is
off the
happening?
ground, but we're gonna get
Like,
5 Super Pet movies.
dude, probably.
Like, I mean, oh man.
When I saw this cast, because I just was like, okay, it's a kids movie. I saw the cast, I was like, what in the world is going on? Like,
I mean, John Krasinski's going to be in DC's League of Super Pets before he's inevitably cast as Mr. Fantastic. Uh, which is funny to me.
I
Uh,
love that he wants it.
yeah.
I also love Emily Blunt's reaction. I think the fact that people are pissed at it is super weird because her reaction is totally fair. That's fan casting. That's very flattering. I don't know what you want me to say beyond that.
Yeah.
It's a totally fair response.
So,
It's not at all something you should be angry about because what do you expect her to say beyond that?
yeah. I mean, we'll
Well,
see.
so to
Can you
recap,
imagine though if Fantastic Four the cast gets revealed and then it's actually Krasinski and Blunt, like,
that people would just explode. I don't even know what that would look like.
oh my gosh, that would be so funny. Like,
Um,
not even for the fact that it's because, like, I personally think it'd be really cool, but
yeah,
not even for that, or even for the fact that they're husband and wife, but for the fact that it's like the stupid Twitter, man, like they like they would lose their freaking minds, both good and bad, like for it
yeah.
and against it, and so oh
Oh my
man.
gosh. But yeah, to recap, DC's League of Super Pets. I
It's,
awesome cast. I don't know what to say
yeah.
beyond that. I'm so confused,
Yeah,
but
realistically
I'll
speaking,
take it
of course, probably the best cast ever put together.
for DC, maybe.
Yeah, honestly, like that is
Like,
that is a
I know
pretty
you're joking,
stacked
but for
cast.
DC,
No,
maybe.
honestly, like I'm joking, but also not. Like it is a really good cast.
Right?
It's
Like
so
that's what I mean. Where I was like, okay, I kind of was like, I don't know, I don't. Okay, this is happening.
yeah.
Oh, this is happening. Okay,
So when is
like
like this is 2023?
I don't know.
I
My
hope
brain
so.
can't get past what is going on with this.
Yeah, so DC League of Super Pets,
DC League. So to recap, DC's League of Super Pets has broken our brains.
yeah, I feel like I just got done like having a stroke talking about DC League of Super Pets.
Oh wow. Okay, so thank you
So
all
show
for
over.
joining us. Thank you all for joining us on this ridiculous episode of It's All Connected.
We're back. The video's moving.
Yeah. So
This,
hopefully this
we're
stays.
here. Yeah.
Hopefully this keeps on. This keeps on keeping on.
Yeah.
Next week we should be at 1 o'clock again on Sundays, and Richard should be joining us, so that'll be
Yep.
nice. So please join us here again next week. We also have, like I've said before, the Marvel Loki Watch Along Tuesdays at 11:40 p.m. Pacific with me, Richard, Brax, and TC. We have the Star Wars Bad Batch Watch Along Thursday nights at 11:40 p.m. Pacific with me, Josh, JD, and Rob. We have tons of other shows. We have the wrestling show that's on later tonight. We have 4 different Power Rangers shows. We have the Star Trek show.
Yep.
I mean,
We got everything. It's
this
something
is a
for
place
everyone.
to be, man.
Yep. So there we go. Yeah. Like she said, thank you all for watching. It's All Connected. We're hopefully going to be back to some normalcy next week, finally for once. Now that we've got all these technical issues figured out, I'm going to be honest. I didn't think that this was ever going to happen. I I didn't even think we were going to be doing the show today. So thank you all so much for watching. It's All Connected, and remember, here at the Illuminerdi, we're always watching. Take care, everybody.